It's clobbering time!
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
It's clobbering time! Clobberonimo! Greetings, clobberers, clobberonimos, clobberoids, clobberooskies, clobberians, clobbery, and everyone else. The secret is to bang the Rex together, guys. Clobberonimo! Yeah. Thank you, number one, and thank you all for being here with us this evening. Glabby's Clubhouse, of course, it is Clobbering Times issue number 640. Oh my God. On YouTube, of course. 1,340 overall. And it, again, as I said, it's Glabby's Clubhouse number 97 with my wonderful first officer and great chief engineer, Raquel and Mark D. So, hey, buddies. Ladies, gentlemen, and women, good to see you. Good to see you so much. Thank you for being here with me. My goodness, what a fun we're going to have tonight, as always. And I hope you're all ready to have fun with us, my friends. First, of course, we'll get down to beeswax. With the opening words from the most wonderful first officer in the fleet. Take it away, Commander.
I love you. Thank you for having me. It's always a treat to be here. It's always an honor and a pleasure. You're one of my best friends in the whole wide, crazy, weird world. And so I love spending time with you. And this time means a lot to me. Hail to the chat. Good evening, fine people. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to see all of you, and I truly mean that. I just love your comments. I like your reviews. I like your ratings. I like everything you're always talking about in the chat, and so I appreciate you supporting Clobby's channel. I appreciate you supporting this show, and I just really love your company. You guys are some really terrific conversationalists. I have a book coming out soon. And I was mentioning to all of you that I was having this last month. I was trying to massage some ideas, and I couldn't get something special. And then it dawned on me. So I wanted to let everyone know that I did make my August deadline for my Patreon subs.
Yay.
And speaking of my Patreon subs, I have some pretty wonderful people who are backing my book. I write classic, episodic science fiction, and corporations aren't interested in that. However, 17 marvelous people have stepped forward, and they said, yeah, we want classic science fiction. Let's do it. And so they're putting their money where their mouth is, and they have helped me immensely as I go through this publishing journey all on my own. Larry, Thank you so much, my dear friend. You have done so much for me and for everyone else in this community. You are so generous with your time, with your heart, with your thoughts, with your knowledge, and in supporting indie artists. Thank you, sweetheart. You are a gentleman among gentlemen. So thank you, sweetheart. Tony Stark, thank you so much, my good friend. Please follow Tony Stark. Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, Shoota, Chris Persia, Scuba and Leslie Pete, Eric K and his trusty dusty dog Kirby. We share that dog. I love that dog. Enigmatic Dropper, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C and his beautiful family, Anti-Derivative Jill, Maximum Redstone, JT Cook, Dadman and the Dadman Clan, Lord and Lady Thoth, and of course their wonderful Porthos, their very own Porthos, which they a little guy they decided to call Lance. And I also want to thank Rob Altus. I can't do this journey without you folks, and you guys are just making everything wonderful. So thank you for supporting me as an indie author and for believing in my work. And I want to wave hello to all of the wrenches. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys so much. Thank you for promoting Clobby's show and for helping us to make this community, this group, this hangout, this clubhouse the best it can be. And I also want to wave hello to somebody who has become my true blue friend in real life, a terrific guy who is always by our side and always helping and always has something funny or kind to say. And his name is Mark D with a C. So good evening, Mark. Let's do this. Let's get this show on the road. It's so much fun tonight.
He's here somewhere.
Oh,
now here we go. Oh, my mic. I had turned the switch off of my mic. I'm boomering it. I said I was talking for like 10 seconds. Typical.
Chief Boomer Engineer.
Everyone. Chief Boomer Engineer. Yeah, because I double turn off my mic when I leave the room because I'm like, God forbid I forget to mute or something, and you hear everything. Not that anything's bad to hear, but I was saying, Raquel, when I was on mute, perchance the guy from the Tales of Tomorrow episode tonight isn't paying you to finish your short stories. I hope, right?
Leslie Nielsen, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
You know, it's not sci-fi. It's weird tales, but I mean, weird tales fits in sci-fi, especially if you don't explicitly say they're religious. So I'm really excited to talk about tonight's episode.
Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah.
Indeed. Yep. Well, let's see here. Mark, any words before we get started?
No, well, thank you, Raquel. That's so nice, nice of you to say. And of course, as you always give us the great compliments, I just wish we could. Clobberin times we're not as loquacious. What's the right word?
Loquacious.
Loquacious. There we go. See, I'm trying to use them there big words.
Them
Raquel some
words,
some good compliments. I better go back to my college intro to college English as an iron engineer, but. No, but I really appreciate everyone that's everything that Raquel says, and yeah, everyone, if you can support her or follow her on Patreon, you can also follow her. And yeah, it's another trick that I do to buy short stories. If you do happen to have Amazon Prime, if you delay your delivery, you get credits. Sometimes you'll say if you delay your delivery for a week, and if it's not something important, you $1 for towards digital. Sometimes even $3. So. That's how I've bought a lot of books and supported some authors that way. And you just use your credits and get Amazon to pay for it. I know Prime's not cheap these days. It's kind of crazy, but that's one way to do it.
Mark,
if you're paying for it,
you are the chief enabler. We need to change your status. I mean, you're the chief engineer, but I think you should also be the chief enabler. If they allow Super Kess and Super Dr. Crusher to exist, then I think that you should be able to exist as chief enabler and chief engineer.
I hope so. Thank you. Yep. I try. Yep. Why not? But yeah, we have some good episodes tonight, and that's not spoilery to say, I guess. So we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight, as per usual.
All right, Ravenscroft, have a good one.
Oh, you take it off, Ravenscroft. Oh, I didn't get a chance to read that yet. I will catch up in the chat. Ravenscroft, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Maybe we'll see you on Saturday night. I sure hope we will. Have a wonderful evening.
Proceed, Mark.
No, Oh, it's all good. All good. Yeah. No, that's Joseph Dredd. That's a good one. Chief Acquisition Officer.
There you go.
I like that
Whoa,
one.
there
Yeah.
you go. Yep, you're Ferengi. That make you Ferengi. So, all right. Well, let's do some
Can I
show
ask
notes.
a question before we do the show notes?
I suppose it's okay.
Okay, so Chief Acquisitions Officer. So in the military, is that the quartermaster? Does the quartermaster
guess.
do more than?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be the quartermaster. Yeah, yeah.
So chief engineer and quartermaster.
Well, yeah, I mean,
not bad. Yeah, moving
Not
up. the world.
Quatermaster.
Quartermaster. Yeah.
Do I get
Hey,
access to the checkbook for the clubhouse or the credit card?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Actually, there is a name for that. It's not an official one. It's called the Scrounger, because Rockford, Rockford was the Scrounger in the war, and James Garner in one of the greatest movies ever made, The Great Escape, in the prison, he was the Scrounger, the guy responsible for getting everything, acquiring things and making all the deals and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, the Scrounger. But yeah,
it doesn't sound quite as glorious. But that's
it's not as well. That's because they call him that for a reason. It's like
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Mark does go to Fleabay. That's
Mark's
where he
Scrounger.
gets us the best deals.
Scrounger,
yeah. Oh, well, show notes, then the shout out, shall we?
Let's do it, boss. Let's do it.
Alrighty. Again, so everyone, this is the last night of Jack Kirby month on Clobbering Times. Even though tonight is not about devoting it to Kirby, I still wanted to mention him because I don't think I did a very good job of contributing to Kirby this month as I've done other years, but I'll still do it every August, no matter what. Of course, last night the great Mark D with AC was very helpful with me I thought we had a good time doing this one.
Oh wow.
We had a lot of fun reviewing. I'll tell you what, we hadn't read this thing in forever. There was so much Star Trek in this review of these 4 issues of Fantastic Four.
Really?
We might talk about a little bit of it with Raquel tonight later after we get the other reviews. All the Star Trek in this particular 4-part Kirby comic that we reviewed, just because it was this is based on a certain gift I got. And this was, I had read this story in forever. I know Mark hadn't probably read it in a while, but we both read it at some point. I'll tell you what, this is going to be part of we're going to end Kirby month on a recap of last night's show, just about this comic a little bit. They're talking about the Star Trek elements in it.
Okay. Cool.
So anyway, but let's see here. Tomorrow night I will be on with, of course, the great J-Man, my good buddy J-Man, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on 7 Eastern. My buddy J-Man and the great Sean and I are going to be reviewing Jack Kirby's 4th World Saga. We started it for the past couple of weeks. What a great fun we've had. And I'll have a little bit of mention of something about that later in tonight's show as we say goodbye to Kirby month.
Did you see his granddaughter thanking everyone on Twitter for just all of the messages and just shining a special light? And I noticed that you responded and you told her, that he is so underrated for his contributions to culture. And I was so touched by all of the messages that everyone was sending and how she was responding and how you jumped in there. And it was a very fulfilling thing to see. I'd like to see social media used like that more often. How about you, boss?
Yes, it's a very positive thing because Jack needs more and more. Because again, we're still talking about the injustices are so glaring that we're talking about a guy who not only revolutionized what was a pretty powerful, potent art form, pop culture though it was, for over 4 of the 70 some odd decades of his existence. He was the biggest influence by far on storytelling, creating, and art, and everything about the art form. He also was responsible for creating characters that have been since siphoned off from him and other creators and used to produce billions of dollars, very, very minuscule molecular sized amounts did he ever receive or his family ever receive on his own. And yet that's one thing that he got screwed over. So much so that 90 some odd percent of the general populace does not even know who he is.
Yeah.
They don't. And it's just, it would be, just imagine if what if, I know this is comics, I know this should keep it in more proper proportion, but just give an example. What if Shakespeare had someone else took credit for all of everything he did, and some other guy we've known for a year, you know? I'm not talking about the fights he's had with Sir Francis Bacon or any of these other kind of things, stuff like that. I'm just talking about in general. What if Shakespeare had never got hardly any of the credit for the things he wrote, and someone else did?
Yeah.
And we forever as a society, you know, attributed what he did to somebody else. And yet a few people found out about it and put it out there, but it just couldn't beat. What was it? Who was it? Was it Mark Twain that said that a lie can travel around the world, halfway around the world before the truth could put on its shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Or whatever it goes.
Yeah.
So
It's a good saying.
what if, so imagine how few people know the truth, and it makes me sick. So again, I won't go into that right now, but it
Yeah,
really
but
does.
you've helped to shine a light on it, and you've helped to shine a light on his talent. And because of you, now thousands of people know the true Jack Kirby story. So
Well, I've done what I could, which isn't much, but there are many others who try to fight that fight, and you just can't beat the Santa Claus monster. And tomorrow night, 8:30 Central Standard Time, the Comic Shop Boys of our good buddy Nicholas at 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser get together. We'll have a review. The lads and I will, and Nick and I will review Starlight by Mark Millar.
yeah.
So very good comic, very, very fun throwback comic that even if it's a Millar comic and I'm reading it, you know, that's rare. And then of course, Saturday night Star Trek as
Dun, dun, dun,
always.
dun.
Dun, 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 indeed. 4 more episodes reviewed of Star Trek Voyager by the most wonderful first officer in the fleet and her captain, and you all as well. We can't wait. And then, of course, this geekery afoot on Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the great
Yeah.
Chief Engineers channel, Mark D with a Z. And hey, you don't even have to bring your own lunch because the geekery will become the eatery right before your very
That's for sure.
eyes
Yep.
and taste buds. So there
Well,
you
if
go.
Mark's there, for sure it will become the eatery.
Well, I am cooking a whole pig this weekend for the
Really?
getting
Oh
ready
yeah,
to
it's
do the
Labor Day
whole pig,
weekend.
so
Yeah,
Labor Day weekend's whole pig weekend. Yep, yep.
Well, and then there's Monday night. I'll be on with the great J-Man again as we continue our never-ending journey. Well, it will end eventually. It's not going to be. I don't know if this is going to take as long as it's taken Raquel and I to do Star Trek, but it'll be up there. And our ongoing mission to review all of the Legion of Superheroes stories in order from the very beginning of the Silver Age to the end of the Bronze Age, the all that matters. So those are the show notes. Let's do some shout outs.
Let's
Shall
do the
we?
shout outs.
All right. Our magnificent wrenches are Eric K., the Wrencher of Bronze.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
What's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Chris Persia, Vindicated Wrench of the Great White North. The man.
Thank you for the beautiful show poster and for promoting
Thank you.
CLOBBY'S channel. I just love you to bits. Thank you for everything that you do for everyone in this community, me included. So you're a pretty spectacular human, Chris Persia. We love you very much. Thank you.
Appreciate you so much, buddy. Thank you. D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron.
Yay!
Tuska lives. Lord Thoth, God of all that is wrenching, is wonderful. Better half, the lovely Lady Thoth, Avon lives, and long live the Leecher.
Yes, yes, yes.
He's the wrench without fear, my partner in crime on Earth B, and Legionnaire reviewer and Kirby fourth wheel reviewer extraordinaire. He is the J and the man, the J man.
And don't forget, J-Man is also an author, and his genre is horror. And his wife is an award-winning poet here in Canada. So if you feel like reading some horror, if that's your thing, or if you love really well-wrought poetry, you can just follow Jason on Amazon and pick up some of his work. I know he would really appreciate it. He supports a lot of people in the indie community. He's out buying people's books. I know he bought my book. He bought my stories. He made sure that he got his reviews out there to support my book and stuff. And it really meant a lot to me. So it'd be cool if we could all sort of give him a pat on the back because he's a really cool guy. So shout out to J-Man.
Yes, indeed, yes. He's a great pal, great friend of the show. I have a lot of fun hanging out with him. And Sean, of course, master of the Clabboni, comic artist extraordinaire and painter of the cover of the science fiction classic Science Fiction Tales by Commander R.M. Briggs.
I love you, boss.
Love you.
Shout out to HB.
HB, hungry boy. Stephen Kal-El Super Wrench. Hi,
Real
buddy.
soup.
Hey, miss you. I haven't seen him in forever. I hope he's okay.
I
out there.
know.
Maddie's daddy, Wilderness Rinch Bionia, Thorin Vegas.
He has Maddie tonight, so I don't know if he'll be stopping in, but he
That's
did want to say hello to everyone and send his best to everyone, and he did that over in Mark's watch party chat. So I spotted it, so I'm going to pass it along to everyone. Cool. Steve says, hello, everyone. He has Maddie tonight, though, so whenever he has his daughter, it's Daddy, Super Maddie's Daddy.
The rascally wrench himself, Fanty Outsider
Fanty!
And our Clobber Time's own music meister, Maximum Redstone. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Redstone.
Best to you, sir. And let's look at who's in the chat. Let's
fun
say some
people
shout
are
outs.
here. Fun.
It's the Clubhouse, folks. It's just laid back. We'll get to our reviews. We just like to take our time and say our hellos and stuff.
Rush,
Yep. There's Fanty Outside, and there's, of course, Joseph Dredd. Here comes the judge.
Hey.
Penny. Hello there, Penny. Good to see you, love.
Evening, Penny. Nice to see you.
And he's a Larry.
That was pretty cherry, boss. That was cherry. Larry, good evening.
That's his new theme. That's it. It's Larry. I'm sure he loves it. Keely Chow. Roll that tide, Keely. And guess who else is here? The Gwagnar. Yeah. Brian Hepburn. What's up, dude? All right.
Evening, Brian.
Hi, Brian. Ravenscroft said he had to run.
Good night.
Sorry. Ravenscroft, though. But glad you were here. Doc Fortune. All right.
Hey, Doc. What's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc? Yeah. What's up, Doc? Dave C. What's up, buddy?
Dave!
Your Muslim uncle says Ty was not showing up in my subscriptions on your channel under live. Sorry about that. You wonky YouTube, but thank you for being here. Picasso. Yeah. All right. Fiona.
Good evening.
Princess Fiona. Yes,
here's
indeed.
The
could not be reached for further comment. Good to see you, my friend. Claude Salling. Hello.
Hello, Claude.
Dadman and the Dadman clan. What's up, buddy?
Dadman clan.
All right.
Somebody really cool just walked through the door.
Well, I'm almost there. We'll see.
Two people.
Two great ones. All right. Almost there. A little. Simply Steve. What's up, Kimasabi?
Good evening, Steve.
Good to see you, brother. Let's see here. Takes me a second to get there, folks, but Nosferatu the Vampire. Thank you for being here. That's the panel scene, The Great Silence, Great Spaghetti Western starring Klaus Kinski. I've not seen that with Nosferatu. No, I have not seen it, I'm afraid. Let's see. Sorry. Oh, JB's Pork Chop Express. Hey there, the old Pork Chop Express. You must
love
be
pork
Jack
chops.
Burton. He's Jack Burton. Old Jack Burton says that at a time like this. Have you, when they ask have you paid your dues? Yes, sir. The check is in the mail. Bubba Doom 1.
Bubba
What's up, buddy? Righty then. Peter Not Finity. Dude, you dude. I love the way you say weird. Yeah, I was listening. I was lurking last night.
We were lurking last night.
We lurked on you last night. I was so tired. I had to get out of there, but I couldn't stop listening, man. You, sir, or something. And we lurked. We lurked for you when we can.
I was trying to get Clobby to come on. I said, "Go for it." I had to get to bed.
Well,
go for it.
I didn't want to intrude. Saw you on there, but anyway, good to see you there, buddy. All right, let's see. The Richard, what's up, the Richard? What's up, man? It has been
the house.
It's been a dog's age, son. Good to see you there, partner. Yeah. Who else? I'm almost getting there.
Sherry's here.
Oh my God, the lovely Sherry! I want to see that beautiful face. Lovely, look at that. I'm such a guy. I know it, but I want to see the pretty girl.
It's okay. You're allowed to be.
Hey, pretty girl.
Oh, good.
How you doing? Love to see you. Love to see you.
Yeah, it's so good to see you.
Think. Let's see. I'm almost to the bottom. I'm almost there. Yeah, I got there. There we go.
HB is present this evening.
Who? Yeah, HB is here in the house there.
He's in the house.
What's up, HB? Yes, indeed. The leader of the owner of the Don Perlin fan club presidency. Well, you know, what's his face? Who's it? Eric does that to me all the time about Wesley, so I thought I would do it to HB about Don Perlin.
He doesn't mind. Healthy teasing is it's welcome. I know it.
Oh, Shiite. Well, let me see. What we going to be up to up in here tonight? Should we do a review, or should we start with a couple of Kirby items and get out of here? We start our review.
Do the Kirby to start.
Yeah,
all right.
do
So
the
just a quick mention, because you know Raquel last night.
What?
I was looking for something to review, you know, for Kirby night for the last review. You know, I want to review some Fantastic Four issues.
Right.
So this, as you know, before we do that, this all comes from a certain gift, a very special, loving gift that I received from some wonderful friends of ours. I guess you all know about this conspiracy. You have the names left. You don't have the names.
I got to get the name. I was been so behind. I apologize.
All right.
I'll get the names by the end of the show tonight. I promise.
My friends, I wanted to shout you out when I can, and I promise, because I cannot tell you how grateful I am. But what I was about to start with doesn't make sense without this, so I'm going to start really quickly. Last week on my birthday show, some of you got kind of co-conspired with the chief engineer, who almost court-martialed for this
yeah, almost got kicked off the ship.
Yes, it's mutiny. He almost mutinied against me, and you all so kindly got together. And when I know who you all are, I'm going to definitely shout you all out. But of course, many of you gave some great donations before that. Anyway, Mark had gotten this, and I forgot about this, but he'd gotten this for his birthday and unboxed it.
Yeah,
on the show with me, and
I went crazy, and you went crazy over it.
Well, yeah, I'm being a Thing fan. I just loved it, and you know how I feel about the ever-loving blue-eyed idol of millions, man, Petunia's favorite nephew, And so
he kept telling me, "Oh, you got to get that for me. You got to buy that for me." Yeah.
Did I say that?
No,
he would never say that.
He would never say that.
No.
He'd say, "Do not ever get me this. Do not."
But I did make the mistake of driveling all over it, going, "Oh my God, that's fantastic! I love it." I've learned, Mr. Smarty Pants, to stop doing that. So I will no longer be doing that in front of any of you. When I see something cool, from now on, I'm going to shut my stupid ugly. I'm going to shut my stupid ugly fat trap and say,
"Don't."
I'm going to go, "Oh, that's pretty cool." This is going to be attention to you. This is going to be my response every time I see something cool. We can still do the enabling segments because they're a lot of fun. But from now on, when I see something cool, I'm going to go, "Oh, that's nice, man. Yeah, I like that. Very cool. Cool stuff. Nice. Oh, yeah, that's really I like that. That's cool." Because I can't lie to you. I mean, they are cool. So anyway, here's a couple pictures, and then we'll get on to the. Nice. This is my favorite. This is one that sold me to get a picture that close up, that is unreal. That is pure Kirby Sinnott beauty.
Nice face.
Beauty.
Sometimes his face isn't good. Sometimes when people do stuff,
not everyone draws it perfectly.
Yeah, they don't. But this one is the perfect face.
It's definitely a face made for comic books in the sense that it'd be tough to make it look real and like walking around in a movie. Cartoons, yes. Comics, yes. And even statues, like you say, have a difficulty capturing. There's something about it. But whereas the Hulk or other monsters, you can do it easily. Well, but this is just the way Ben
perfect.
should be drawn. This perfect Ben. One of the best Ben Grimm statues I've ever seen, if not the best.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of them.
Everything. The face is everything. I mean, I learned that from you because I've looked through a few of these, shopping for you, and some of them they're terrible. But
got the
look
blue
at
eyes.
I love this face. This is This is the true face. It looks so good,
especially this angle right here.
Yeah,
and then and as if that was not enough, they went and found something that this is a pretty cool one right here that they found also. Shame on you guys.
Yeah, you said you like that
cool
one too.
Hawkeye. Well, yeah, man, it's cool. Figures is pretty pricey because of the cycle. But still, I thank you. And a couple of FF.
Say how nice it is. Yeah.
Mark.
he's worried now. Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. Yeah, because that.
Thank you all.
Of the, who should own that statue in the multiverse, right? I mean, Clobbering times. Well,
you and L.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I do appreciate that so much, everybody. So what happened was, where were we? All right. We went to. I decided since I was trying to decide what FF comic to review for the last Kirby review of the month, and I decided, hey, about that story that Mark has mentioned the story a few times before. He likes it. It's been a while since I've read it, but it's a Ben, sort of a Ben-centric story. It's 4 issues, Fantastic Four. 90.
Before we get into that, boss, you should know that our wonderful friend Sean Carter from Mars just walked through the door.
All right, Sean Carter, what's up, buddy?
Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's okay. So we're gonna do this. Will be a real quick Kirby commentary. We're not gonna go back over what we reviewed. What we're gonna talk about is this comic book. And look, I love creators, but sometimes innovators can do wonderful things too. In other words, many have said there are only like 7 or 8, 9 stories out there, and lots of times you're going to be, you take certain things that you've read or watched or whatever. Well, this comic these 4 issues were released in the fall of 1969. I'm going to cite some Star Trek instances. This story takes place. Basically, Ben is captured by a Skrull. Skrulls can, of course, observe, human shapes and pretend to be people, like body snatchers. And for some reason, I mean, look, there's no question in my mind. No, I've read. You might imagine I've read a few Jack Kirby interviews in my time. Over the past 40 years, quite a few. About the past 40 years, I've been studying the whole Kirby.
And you met him too.
Met him twice. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean I've read them all, and so I would have to do some deep dive research. But I don't know what Jack Kirby, whether he ever watched Star Trek. Well, I didn't know until yesterday. Whether he had any opinions about Star Trek one way or the other. It's been said that he's done a lot of things. And when people say, hey, what you did was like that, he's come out and being an honest guy, said, I've never watched or read that before. Now, Jack Kirby, by the way, was an extraordinarily well-read individual. Big time. He loved science fiction, but he also loved classic literature and mythology and history. He was a brilliant individual, and he was, again, very well read. A lot of comic artists, you'd be surprised, were. In fact, actually, and a lot of comic writers weren't. Writers weren't, artists were. And so that's That's kind of a tough one to go into unless you that's really too deep of dives to go into comic history, explain that one. But anyway, so Jack loved science fiction and fantasy and pulp stuff, but he also loved history and also and mythology and such. But is the story about this is the scroll? These are scrolls. Yes, they can change their shape.
Neat.
No, they went to this planet. They were on this one of this scroll planet. Now, Mark, let's go back to how did they became obsessed with Earth of the 1920s.
Well, I think this explains it in about 5 seconds.
You cooperate with us, and maybe we'll cut you in for a piece of the action.
So basically, it's
this comic is a piece of the action first.
Yeah, you get a piece of the action first, where they've the book has contaminated these.
I'll show you. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, and the scroll planet, they emulate gangsters from the 30s. It's just like on
20s and 30s, just like piece of the action. Let me find. Where's my? I never where I left it. I'll just find it for you. So basically, the scrolls. They can look like anything they want, but they choose to look like humans and act. I don't want any more cracks about the book, by the way. They decide to look like humans, unless you have some. I'll find it, Mark. Unless you can't share some examples of that.
Oh, you want to pull up the comic itself, or
yeah, I was just going to pull it up. I got it.
Yeah, let me see.
I got it. I want to show some examples. Man, it takes a get to the sucker. There we go. All right. So it's issue number 91 where they started that, because first issue was just kind of was a recap of like the last half of the story, the Mole Man. Okay, so here we go. In this story, and again, I wouldn't break this up tonight, except it's last month of Kirby month, and it kind of dovetails with something we talk about on the show a lot, Star Trek. And this is as crazy a Kirby Star Trek connection as you're ever going to find.
Yeah, here it comes, boss.
Okay, where am I at? Hang on. All right. Okay. Now, Fantastic Four 91. As you can see there on this planet, the thing enslaved. Those are not humans. They are Skrulls who could look like humans.
Yes.
Okay. That's the first Kirby mention here.
Okay.
And we're not done. They're on this. They basically call it what they call it, the Skrull home planet. They gave it a name, and they've decided they are now. Here's Kirby reference too. They are, of course, as you know, Skrulls are very, very advanced beings, right? They are stealing people from all over the galaxy to fight in gladiatorial games.
Oh.
Gamesters of Triskelion.
Yeah, Gamesters of Triskelion for sure.
Yep. So here you go.
I'll bet all my Quatloos on that one.
All Quatloos on that one. So these are Skrulls. They're not humans. And of course, they're renegade Skrulls in a sense. See, that's what a Skrull looks like for those who don't know. And they're the original shape changers of Marvel.
Nifty.
And they've decided they want somebody tough to fight their main guy, Torgo. So, okay, now we come to the Crawl, most outer planet of the galaxy. We don't know what the story is at this point yet. Of course, then they can't find Ben. He's been taken from the planet. And so some guy decides to fill Ben on what's going on. Here it is. The origin of the planet. Okay.
Neat.
Where is it? Okay, I'll fill you in. It all started when Machine Gun Martin was brought from Earth many years ago. We're passing a statue now. Martin was a killer who broke out of prison in the 1930s at your planet Earth. Under cover of darkness, he managed to elude the pursuing guards, then long enough for the first of the slave ships to find him. The witless human thought he had discovered an escape vehicle, but was soon to learn different. Our slaver had been busy photographing life on planet, blah, 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 blah. And so when he ended up on Earth, The Crawl, people of Crawl were fascinated by the films and by the gangster himself. Before long, the entire planet began to copy the styles, manners, and primitive speech
neat.
of your own gangster era. Yes. So, who's the nutty Red Baron? Checking about any Red Baron. So, I don't want any more cracks about the book. I love Jack, but I got to be fair, Jack. I mean, dude, unless it's the greatest coincidence, because we're not talking like 5, 6 years. We're talking less than a year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could have conceivably been drawing this comic story not too long after he watched this episode. If he watched the episode, do I know that he watched it? No. And not too long before this episode was aired, we all know that the Gamesters of Triskelion was aired.
Yeah.
There's one other bit, Mark, unless you think of other ones, when Reed is trying to trace the Skrull ship to find out, because they didn't know where Skrull.
Well, yeah, it's like it sounds like it's like a scanner from Star Trek, basically.
Basically, scans their warp signature, though.
Yeah.
Basically,
Nice.
it's something like similar to. Now, again, I can't remember which episode he's referring to. Now, I don't remember on original Trek. They did mention warp signatures and stuff as early as original Trek, I think. But anyway, I don't know though for sure, to be honest with you.
No, it's got to be. It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's got to be some kind of coincidence. I don't know. You don't want to say that Kirby copied because he did tell a great story.
I don't think that it's copying. I think that it's different. It's more like homage. It's kind of like it's kind of like, when you hear a modern day a jazz master guitar player, and sometimes you can hear Larry Carlton, and you're like, oh, okay, well then it's one of his influences. He was inspired by that type of playing. So I wouldn't call it a ripoff. I'd definitely call it. I like the idea that what Clobby called it at the top of the show. This is sometimes creation is the only way to go, but there has to be room for people who are capable of true innovation. And I think that's a pretty cool word for this. And yeah, it looks to me as though he had some inspiration. I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Ezra, shalom.
Oh, shalom. Hello there. Yeah, I definitely can't just. Look, just because he's the king of comics, I'm not going to make an excuse for him. I mean, if he didn't do this, it's the coincidence, the coinky-dink level is off the charts. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I'm doing this just to point it out and laugh. We laughed about it last night. He's Jack. I love Jack. But, I don't know. I mean, I'll never be able to ask him why. But anyway.
I wonder if his granddaughter knows or someone knows.
No,
or if
I don't know. I mean,
this.
Oh, yeah, look.
No.
I'm going to try to ask. I'm going to actually look. I have people. I know of people to. I know the right people to ask. And I will try to find a way to write, even though he's a dumbass on some stuff. Isabella, but Isabella might know. He's the kind of guy that would know. John Morrow might know. I will look into it, but just for the fun of it. But okay, one other Kirby tidbit, then we'll get out of here. We'll go to this.
Well, I just want to say before we move on from that, have either one of you ever heard of the literary term illusion?
Yes.
Okay, so I would need to read the whole comic in order to establish it, but there's nothing to say that this also isn't illusion. And you're saying that Jack Kirby liked classic literature and academic literature. Well, he would definitely be learning illusion from reading those type of texts, and illusion occurring inside of a wonderful novel is a beautiful thing, because it's a mention, and that mention just makes hearts sing. So it doesn't have to be borrowing, and it doesn't even have to be innovation. It could simply be illusion, especially coming from a man man who understood that level of craft. And it's nifty to see, because for me, my impression so far, although I certainly haven't read it, is the chief story is the scroll, and the other ideas that are mentioned are not the main mechanism of the story. So it could be the case that he's showing his chops, and showing the things that inspire him and things that he loves. So it's very intriguing and fascinating, wonderful stuff. And thank you for sharing it.
Well, thank you, Mr. Angel. Good to see you there, buddy. Hey, Chef.
Hey, Chef.
Let's see what Fiona says here. You're forgetting one possibility, Clubby. Perhaps Kirby got inspiration from the same place that the authors of Star Trek episodes got their inspiration. That is a possibility. I didn't say anything was off the table.
No, you didn't.
I'm simply saying that if he didn't do what seems like would seem would be the case, which watch those episodes and just put it in his comic book. And I'm not accusing him of anything either. I look, two of the nearest things in my heart are Jack Kirby and Star Trek. So I have no problem with it. I think it's hilarious.
And it's delightful to see it, isn't it? When you open up a comic book and you see something you love within something you love, it's wonderful.
The mediums are so far apart at that point. It'd be one thing if he did it. If he were a TV show doing it, I would go, "Oh, come on, man." But a comic book taking it from a TV show, or even or vice versa, I have no problem with it. I really don't. So it's not. I wouldn't insult Jack Kirby here.
No, definitely.
So, but you could absolutely be right. Look, they do say there's nothing new under the sun, but that's pretty close to. That's pretty on the nose, though, Fiona. You got to admit, it's something of a stretch. It's one thing, the Triskelion thing, yeah, but the piece of the action thing, you got to admit that's pretty close.
Well, it's not only that; it's also the combination of the two of them.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it pretty much removes any doubt. That fortifies your argument right there, because it's not just one. It's not just one mention; it's two. But I'd like to read the whole thing and find out, because if he was a man who was well read, I would certainly suspect illusion before anything negative. And it's quite exciting if he decided to do that with a comic. That would be delightful. That would be absolutely delightful.
Okay.
Plus, he also wrote, he did a lot of sci-fi in his stories. He did 2001: A Space Odyssey, but that was after. Yeah, that was after this story.
He did tons of science fiction stories before he did this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not out of normal possibility they would watch Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, in my books, in my stories, when I'm writing science fiction, I'll take any opportunity I can to drop little hints to just tickle your brain. Hitchhikers, Star Trek, the main currency in one thread, in one filament of my storytelling. I name them quatlets instead of quatloos. And these are what they are, is they're little nods, their illusion and little nods to the audience that you love the same things, that you care for the same things. And you have to be well read enough within the genre to be able to pick up on that. So it's quite lovely. So I love that sort of thing. And I obviously studying classics throughout academia, through my academic journey. I'm big on that. I love it. I think illusion is a marvelous device, and it can draw very broad smiles.
Larry says, question is, would Jack more likely see Star Trek on TV or from his reading of all types of books? No one knows, but I mean, I'm talking this I don't know, the gangster thing. Let's be honest. I mean, it's a stretch, kind of a stretch to think it might have just two things that close together. But look, it's possible.
Boss man,
yes.
We missed something that I had starred earlier from our great friend Chris Persia. He had a question for Mark. It's in your start folder.
Okay,
and Chris Persia has to get up in only 6 hours.
Okay, let me go ahead.
So he is not going to be sleeping, and he wants to say goodnight to everyone. Poor thing.
Good night, Chris.
And the dogs are barking, so I'm going to go on mute.
Right, go
Chris Persia, I love you. Good night,
Chris.
honey.
All right, bud. Chris
What was the
Persia, buddy,
question?
he says, Mark, quick question. When you ordered Clobby the statue, wasn't there a note from the manufacturer that stated designed and created especially for clobbering times, or was I mistaken?
Well, yeah, I got to take a picture of that note and show it to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to see
We
that.
love you, Chris. Thank you for
Thank you,
everything.
buddy.
Good night, sweetheart. Sleep well.
Thank you, buddy.
Or as the cool kids now say, sleep sweet.
I don't know any cool kids. Let's see here. The Richard, buddy, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. He says, I'm not in chat often, though I always enjoy you guys and everything you do. It's awesome to see you thriving, loving, and aloha. Well, thank you, love, but a whole lot back
Thank
to you,
you,
sir.
Richard.
And I want to say something before we continue. Those of you who, because I forget sometimes because I'm an imbecile. Those of you who do lurk and aren't able to join, and I understand there are plenty of times I'm doing stuff and I go on to some places I like to watch late at night or whatever and lurk, but I don't have time to get into the chatting thing, and everyone probably does the same thing. I really appreciate you. My good brother, North Fats Kangaroos, he's out there watching on the TV right now. He just told me that he's doing something we'd all like to be doing right now. He's watching, well, not watching me so much is a big deal, but he's watching. What's he doing? He says, "Hey, he's watching me on the TV and having a bowl of Captain Crunch." There you go.
Oh, I love Captain Crunch. Yep.
North Fairfax, good to see you, buddy. And I popped over to the great Drunk 3PO's channel today, and I sent a super sticker to there, and he gave me a really nice words. Hey, Jay, Drunk 3PO, if you are lurking now, because you said you lurk sometimes, said really nice things about the channel. I'm not worthy of a man of your caliber, sir, but you said some wonderful things, and that you lurk all the time, and you said I was underrated, man. I can't even. I'm not that. I'm overrated
That's a very
for sure.
sweet thing to say.
But
thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm just, and that's an extraordinary individual. I'm nowhere near in his class, but Jay, Drunk 3PO, I'm honored by those very kind words, sir. Thank you, and right back at you, my friend.
Wow,
very nice of you. And I lurk over there all the time. I lurk at a lot of channels because it's just don't get much time to, run around all over the place. But there's so many great shows out there.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, one more Kirby bit, and we'll get on to our new normal business because it is Kirby's month. Okay, as you've all maybe remember, on Friday nights now and for the foreseeable future, which meaning maybe a couple of months, Sean and J-Man and I on J-Man's channel will be reviewing all of Jack Kirby's Fourth World. Jack Kirby moved from Marvel Comics to DC Comics in 1970, not too long after he did a comic review last night, and brought with him ushered in the Bronze Age of comics, and introduced his Fourth World at the beginning. Starting out Dark Side and the New Gods and all that stuff. He started it in the Jimmy Olsen title, then Forever People, New Gods, Mr. Miracle, and so forth and so on. Stuff like that. And we reviewed our first 2 weeks. We did the first 3 Jimmy Olsen appearances. This past week, we did the Forever People, New Gods, and Mr. Miracle. Here is something I wanted to read that is a letter to the editor about about New Gods #1. It's a short one. And it's written by a young lad by the name of Harlan Ellison of Sherman Oaks, California.
The boob grabber?
Yep. He says, "Dear editor, I hope you have nice boobs that I may grab someday."
Oh, that's the perfect opener.
Yes. I said, just to add a few words to the already awesome mound of praise, one might term in a mountain of judgment, had won a way with clever nomenclature. See, I can't speak tonight at all either. Nomenclature. How do you say that?
Nomenclature.
He wrote it weird, but nomenclature.
Nomenclature.
Surely,
now you screwed me up.
Sorry, I knew I'd get
nomenclature.
Nomenclature. Nomenclature's a good friend of mine. Don't be talking about it.
Oh God, nomenclature.
Surely,
nomenclature. Don't screw me up again.
Nomenclature surely deluging you. Anyway, he says, "My compliments on the first issue of Jack Kirby's The Forever People. In recent memory, only Deadman, Enemy Ace, and Bat Lash seem to match this strip for innovation and success, which probably means, if we are to use as yardstick the commercial failures of those three high water marks of quality, continue, and continuity, the Forever People is too good for the average comic audience. Classic Harlan right there, right?
Yeah.
Its power and inventiveness display the Kirby charisma as it's at its peak. Every panel is a stunner. Potentially, it appears to be the richest vein of story material National has unearthed in years. National meaning DC Comics, for those who don't know. One hopes Kirby will be given total free reign, that he will be allowed to ride his dreams wherever they take him. For the journey, where they take him for the journey is a special one, and we get visionaries like Kirby only once in a generation, if we're terribly lucky. To constrain
Hugo
him,
Award winner just called him a visionary.
Well, yeah. To constrain him, force him to fetter himself with the rules and regs of previous comics experience would be to dull the edge of his imagination. After the many false starts of national efforts in the past 5 years, at least it seems you've struck the main route. That should be Kirby at the top of his form. That worked point scout is not surprising. Someone got to make this bigger. I can't say it. He has long been a master of the form, and in the Forever People, it seems he's found his métier, M-E-T-I-E-R. How do you say that? Métier? Yeah. Best wishes and prayers. Harlan saying prayers. You know, that was him being.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Susan Eckstein, welcome. Good to see you.
Yes, Suzanne.
Harlan saying prayers is him being facetious.
Yes,
prayers for a long, long life for the Forever People. Till now, all the flack, bullwash about this being the golden age of comics has fallen tinnily on us. But with Kirby in the saddle and the Forever People casting its its wondrous glow, you now have leave to bang the drums. Harlan Ellison, Sherman Oaks, California.
Nice.
What a sprightly lad.
Very high praise. Very, very high praise.
Harley was a comics fan now, big time. He loved us.
Very cool.
Good. Whoa, we have a new member. Hey, look.
Awesome.
Nice. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome, Suzanne. And Eric says, agreed, Drug 3PO J is really good people. That man is, I mean, the things that man has done for so many people, he is just an extraordinary individual, and I admire him very much.
He does a lot of charity work, a lot of causes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. And I've never met him or anything, but he's always been so. Again, there's the thing. I've never met him. We've never met him.
We stopped by Sunday Night Geekery one night when you were. Remember that? Paulie told him. You were there, man. Paulie told him to stop by.
I'm saying he's just a nice guy. I mean, he's just
he didn't have to do that.
He's just cool to everyone. Treats everyone the same, and it's amazing. So where we be? We're ready for some. So we were ready for some Tales of Tomorrow.
Tales of Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Go for it, folks. Number one. Take it away.
We're talking Tales of Tomorrow, folks, because we have been trying to find light. We've been trying to illuminate the wonderful short story process. Short story, dying art. One of the reasons why it's a dying art, people don't buy magazines anymore. And magazines and newspapers were primarily historically where short stories got published. And many of those short stories went on to become some of the greatest books, some of the greatest novels, thick tomes of our society. So we're trying to shine a light back on short story and say, hey, this is a great form. This is a wonderful prose form, and we shouldn't just let it die. So we are looking at Tales of Tomorrow. This is a show from the 1950s. It is now in the public domain, so you can watch it anywhere. And believe it or not, folks, we're almost finished covering them. But they're wonderful short stories. Many of them are classic short stories, or they're short stories written by short story authors. And then some marvelous teleplay people come in, turn them into scripts, turn them into something that can be celluloid on TV, and then you wind up with something marvelous. And that's a very restorative thing. I think it's a great reminder for everyone that the corporations should not be making art. They should not be making arts and entertainment. It's not up to them. And what the corporation should do is facilitate art and artists. They should facilitate short story authors. They should facilitate teleplay specialists. They shouldn't be just buying stuff and recycling it and doing stuff on their own. It's been disastrous. So this is your reminder. This is your joy. This is your happy place. Tales of Tomorrow. And this week we are covering Ghostwriter. Ghostwriter is season 2, episode 32. It was a first broadcast on March 27th, 1953. And that's pretty far back. And not a lot of people of modest means or folks who are the working poor had a television. It's my understanding many of them watched it at their local theater.
Yoruchi Solifan, by the way.
Good
Welcome.
evening. This story was written by Man Rubin, a name that has become familiar to us because of Tales of Tomorrow, and I believe the comic book industry. This evening's story is not science fiction. Usually Tales of Tomorrow is science fiction. However, this is Weird Tales. We have a weird tale tonight. This is Weird Tales of Tomorrow, not science fiction Tales of Tomorrow. And you will notice that I will not be citing anybody else's work. And the reason being is the IMDb summaries of these episodes are horrendous. They're atrocious. And Wikipedia, they're missing all over the place. So I just write a little summary as I watch. And so this was written by me. And I hope I cover enough information for you all. We happen upon a writer burning the midnight oil, writing a novel. Oh, it stars Leslie Nielsen, the wonderful Canadian.
The great Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah. We happen upon a writer, and he's been burning the midnight oil, writing his novel. He's quit his job. His beautiful and supportive, brilliant wife. She's beautiful, sunshiny, kind, and supportive. She works in a tobacco shop to support them. She's retrieved the mail and brought him some sandwiches. So we know it's in the afternoon. And they're living in this yucky apartment. It's quite dirty. Well, it's not dirty. Like she's a very nice wife and is very capable. I mean, like it's run down. We find out the writer, Mr. Tyler, has answered a want ad to boost his chances of being discovered by collaborating with another author. And he is immediately hired by somebody named Mr. Morton, and they receive this notice through the mail. His lovely wife insists that he try on his own to make his own career. She's beautiful, she's supportive, and she's passionate. But he quit his job at this ad agency, and when he did it with her permission. And she's such a beautiful person that she said, no, we're going to take 2 years and we're going to see if we can make your novel work. I want to see you try. And you can't write a novel if you're constantly distracted working at this ad agency. So you instantly just love his wife, played by a marvelous woman named Gabby Rogers. She's just so charming and so kind and earnest. She's just delightful. Anyway, he promises her that he won't collaborate, that he'll stick to their plan, and he will finish his work. He'll finish his novel. Well, his lovely wife, she leaves to go to return to work, where she's working at a tobacco and news shop. Bert Tyler calls Mr. Morton and asks to meet. So he immediately betrays his wife. And it's not very nice because his wife is very sweet. Bert Tyler meets at Mr. Morton's office. His writing studio, Mr. Morton's writing studio, is huge, and it's furnished with odd objects from all over the world, things that you would expect to see in a museum at the time, 1953. And it's mixed with walls and walls of books. Mr. Morton claims to be a famous author looking for short stories. You see, Mr. Morton can begin a story, but he can't finish it. So he offers Bert Tyler $500 each to finish Mr. Morton's unfinished work, his unfinished stories.
And that's a ton of money back then too. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, a
That's
huge money,
insane. I mean, it's
1953.
big money now, but
Oh yeah,
that's huge. I mean,
yeah.
probably
quite a
made
bit.
$2,000 a year as a salary, maybe, right? I
If
mean,
somebody wants to look that up in what that would be,
Oh,
what,
it's quite a bit. Yeah.
yeah, what that would be equal to in modern day, that would be lovely. Mr. Morton tests Bert Tyler's imagination by testing him impromptu with a strange scenario. Mr. Morton assigns Bert 2 stories due by the end of the day. We join Bert's lovely wife, who is closing up shop at the tobacco and news stand. Bert is late picking her up, and he shouldn't be. Obviously, he's also gone behind her back and done something that he shouldn't. He shows his wife the $1,000 he earned. His deception, breaking his word, hurts his wife's feelings. She's actually deeply hurt, almost in tears, because she really believes in him and his dream, and she really believes in his talent. And let's face it, he lied. As they talk, Bert notices a bold headline in the early morning paper. The obituaries are his stories, but they don't leave any questions. They are exactly his stories. And 2 days pass. Bert's wife wants the money returned, but Bert can't get a hold of Mr. Morton. You see, Bert's wife is frightened by all of these deaths and how they came true and how they were her husband's exact words in the stories. And that all of the fictions that he will write in the future, should Bert work for him, would become reality. And these are terrible deaths. His wife reveals that she checked up on Mr. Morton and found out that no one has heard of him in the writers' community. He's not even a part of the guild. No one's heard of Mr. Morton at all. His frightened wife gives him an ultimatum. Bert must never work with Mr. Morton ever again. She's terrified of this unknown power. She says that she will be forced to leave because she doesn't want to be a part of these terrible outcomes of this horrible violence. The understood evil and the power frightens her terribly. Bert leaves and to return the money to Mr. Morton, or at least under the guise to return the money to Mr. Morton. Bert confronts Mr. Morton at his office. Morton says Bert is overreacting. It's all just a big coincidence. But Bert insists they're his exact words, and they are. He insists on trying to return the money. Morton's hearing nothing of it. He offers Bert $1,000 more for one last story written in secret. Bert agrees. And now, since he's taking so much time, Bert's wife calls Mr. Morton's studio. All is revealed. Her husband has betrayed her again, and she is devastated. Bert submits his story and rushes. Bert submits his story and then rushes to his wife, who he's late to pick up again, but she's not there. And I'm not going to reveal the ending. And I'm not going to reveal the ending because this is a beautiful story and you need to go and watch it. And I am gobsmacked by how much of this story was achieved in just 22 minutes. Man, Ruben, what a beautiful story you have written here. What a wonderful journey you take us on. It's not campy or anything like these normal lesson stories. There's a lesson here, but it's very earnest and it's well played and it's well written. And so it's just terrific. So I hope you will go and watch Tales of Tomorrow, Ghostwriter. And before I turn it over to my captain and our chief engineer, I would just like to say that especially considering the time in which this was rendered and the budget and the quality of the story, this is a 10 out of 10. I cannot believe what this team of people managed to create in 22 minutes. Bravo, bravo, bravo. This could easily be a stage play. I would be mesmerized watching this for 2 or even 3 hours. This is expertly written. I love the ideas. It's just terrific, terrific, terrific. And that's all I have to say.
Well, it's very well said, and it is amazing. It's well done. It's kind of it's uncomfortable. It really is what happens with this. Kudos, of course, to the great Leslie Nielsen, Commander J.J. Adams of the C-57D, amongst other things.
Yeah, the first Starship Commander.
First Starship Captain.
And thank you for
Forbidden
donating
Planet.
a wing to my college that I attended. He donated a wing at the college I
Wow.
went to. So shout out to Leslie Nielsen. Thank you for that, sir.
Did he? Wow.
He did.
As the Goldstein says, the Ghost Rider on YouTube. I think it's on YouTube.
It is.
I think-
That's where
Oh,
I
yes,
watched
I'll
it.
post the link. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
yeah,
YouTube,
yeah.
Daily Motion. Yeah, it's very easy to find. Let me grab it, but I'll put that in
Oh,
the,
man.
the chat.
JT Kirk's here. What's up, buddy?
Hey,
JT.
JJ.
He says C-57. No bloody A, B, C, or a D. Yeah. Commander J.J. Adams. Yeah, he was great. God, man, I love Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, that was such a great.
This was-
episode.
yeah.
Oh my God! Someone colorized it. Oh no!
No.
Here, Hungry
No,
Boy. Here's-
don't do that.
Why
here's
would you
one for-
colorize it?
No, don't do that.
I don't get why we need to colorize.
Oh my!
But yeah, this
God.
was very
so hard.
spooky. It was it's very look. I know I keep saying this because I'd never until you showed us this or introduced us to the show last year. I'd never seen it. Rod Serling would eat this up. I mean, he did a lot of stuff they tried on the show. They did on Twilight Zone and did it better. But this was clearly before Twilight Zone, and this was perfect for the kind of story they would do on Twilight Zone. It's not pure science fiction, but it would belong on a show like that for sure.
Yeah.
And I think Rod. I don't know that there's plenty of these episodes that we've seen that they're kind of clunky, and maybe somebody like Rod Serling could have cleaned them up, made them better. But this is one of those that I don't think Rob would have tweaked much. It would have been good on a Twilight Zone episode. Rob would have added some more production value to it, but it's about it.
Man Rubin is Man
Rubin's good.
Was really hitting his stride, I think, at this point, and just
Good
kept
writer.
on producing great teleplay after great teleplay, or adjusting his short stories to be to work as teleplays. But he was really hitting his stride at this point, and just really churning out high quality stuff. I mean, remember when we first started covering this show, it has been claimed everywhere that this was Arthur C. Clarke's first publication. So this show was a big deal from 1951 to 1953. This show was a big, big deal. Even the Science Association in the United States sponsored this show.
Good night, Richard.
In exchange for ideas and things like
Okay,
that.
Richard.
Good night, Richard. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Good night,
Yes.
Richard.
Absolutely.
So
That's
it's
amazing.
He said he lurks a lot on Monday night, but we always apprate people lurking. And
Hey, look,
make sure to
we
click
love-
the like button.
We love our lurkers. You never have to say anything. We're glad you're there. But if anyone lurking or watching on a download later, I don't say it enough. That's why when 3PO said that earlier, it made me realize how I can't stand that I don't say that enough to our lurkers and to the people who watch on downloads later. So thank you for that, both of you. But yeah, you're right. Number one, man, this is like, it's crazy. This is almost 10 years before Twilight Zone.
Yep. Yep.
Almost.
And wasn't this also Paul Newman's first? Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Well,
Paul
it was
Newman
the
was
first, I
on one.
think.
Paul
right?
Newman. This was the first time he had ever appeared on something. This was his first thing that he did. So, super cool.
Yepper.
No, it's amazing sci-fi. Yeah.
So, what did you think of it, Mark?
I'm gonna predict that you gave this an A++. As soon as I started watching and I heard short story, I said, "Well, you gotta say in your unbiased opinion, I guess, or biased opinion, right?"
Who, me?
No, Raquel, I'm joking. Yeah, it was like this episode was written for you, but
Yeah.
But the only thing I didn't understand, or if I missed it, why did the wife not want him to work with this guy the first time? Did this guy have a bad reputation, or I missed that
No,
somehow?
it's that
what was the
he had
reason?
he had a highfalutin career at an advertising agency. And he came to her and he said, you know, I'm going to quit my job. And because of that, they lost their house, they lost everything they had, and they moved into that dumpy little apartment.
Yeah.
But instead of her being angry, she struck a deal. She said, okay, you have this beautiful idea for this novel. Let's give it 2 years. And I want you to just pour your heart and soul into your novel. I believe in you. I'll go and work at the tobacco and newsstand, and we'll make it work because I believe in you and you're talented. And so that was their plan, that they were going to do that for 2 years. So she had given up everything. And so this idea that he would collaborate or write under someone else, or perhaps be a ghostwriter for someone where his name wasn't attached to it, it felt like she gave up everything for nothing. And she really believed in him. I think she tells him that.
Oh, so that was the reason. It was more not altruistic. I'm trying to think of the right word, but
Yeah, no,
she wanted to pursue his dreams. It wasn't. It
She
wasn't
did.
that she thought had any bad vibes about the guy from the start. Although
No.
I would think that you wouldn't mind if the hubby wrote a couple of short stories and made a little bit extra cash
Well,
on the
not if
side.
you're
But
trying to make a name for yourself, because he had already been doing that job. So they've sold their house, they've lost everything. They're now living in this dumpy apartment, and his wife is beautiful and kind and just compassionate, benevolent, very sweet person. And she's given up everything without any complaint. And they're living in this dumpy apartment so he can finish the novel. I think he should really get to work on the novel and not distract himself from it, right? And he lied to her, and I don't think he should have done that, because
Mighty Orbots.
when somebody loves you and they believe in you, yeah, no.
Mighty
Hey, Mighty
Orbots,
Orbots!
welcome me.
And he gets caught on the phone too, I guess. He's like, I
does.
didn't want her to know. Yeah. So the acting, of course, Nielsen is a great actor, and you know, that helps to pull this off. And yeah, it's 28 minutes, but I guess there's commercials in that, so that's probably, like you said, 22 minutes,
It's 20
25 minutes.
if you take the commercials
Yeah.
out. Most of them are between like 21:30 and
Yeah. So quick
22.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah, so very quick, but yeah, I
Oh, and
hope that.
I was looking up the cost, the inflation calculator. So this was 1953. This episode.
Mhm.
Or I had 1952. Let's change it. No, we're not going to change it much anyway. But yeah, so $500 in 1952 was $5,700.
That's lots.
So $1,000 is
Well, double that.
11,500. But the other thing to consider, though, too, the median income that year was $3,200. Your median
Yeah.
income.
Yeah.
So that's so your average. That means the high and the low. So about $2,000 wouldn't be something unusual to earn back then. You know, you earned. So that's $2,300. So my guess was actually pretty close when I said 2,000.
Well, I think that it's important to remember, though, too, that two themes take shape in this story, and I don't want to reveal it all, but this is a guy who had everything, and he lied to his wife, even though she believed in everything that he did.
Yeah, she was a sweetie.
Yeah, total sweetheart, and a pure heart, somebody with a very pure heart, very loving and kind. And so he has, it's almost like he shuts his feelings off to her, and he's quite selfish, and all he really cares about is himself and proving himself. And so that's a theme that I don't want to massage too much, because I don't want to reveal the ending, because I want it to be special for whomever hasn't had a chance to watch it yet.
Well, the money too. I think maybe greed and avarice is part of that, not entirely. But yeah, because he gets at the end, he says, but I can't do it. I promised my wife. He's like, but it'd be crazy to turn down $1,000, which is, almost half a year's salary. So
yeah, but at that point, he knew that he had written the murder. That whether this was an alien or the devil or the Grim Reaper, we don't know what Mr. Morton is, but the fact that he was writing the deaths of people who Mr. Morton chose from the papers, So, he would randomly select people, and he'd start by writing some sicko way that they would meet their demise.
I would say he's death.
Yeah, right.
Because
So
Morton.
yeah,
Or-
exactly. But they don't
But
tell
what-
you in the story. But
No.
But why was he writing? Couldn't he have written the person won the lottery, and why did he have to author it that way? I'm just asking.
I just
Remember, he was asking for plots.
yeah.
Yeah, he didn't say like the person has to.
No,
meet
he
their
didn't want. He
demise
said, "I'm going to finish it out. What I want is plots."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything with character.
Yeah.
Or anything. So,
but that's why Morton screened him from the beginning. Morton screened his style of writing, and then even had him audition. So
that was what's fascinating to me. He was trying to all these different. He wanted to write. He was basically hiring people to write certain kinds of deaths.
Yes, and he seems to find it quite delicious, and he has the most disgustingly vile, pleasurable reaction to the deaths. And so he chose his author wisely. So he wasn't. He definitely wasn't hiring a sunshiny author. He wasn't hiring Gene Roddenberry. He was hiring somebody who's like, death, mayhem, more kind of a horror type of author. Certainly in 1953, it would be considered that. So he knew what he was getting, right? I'm sure he had more than one person apply for that position. So yeah.
That's the only thing that kind of threw me off, though, in terms of, I guess, it could. I love this. I love the story. I thought it was great, but I just thought you explained to me why the wife was upset, and of course I'm watching and doing it 3 other things at once too. I shouldn't
Go
be
back
doing.
and rewatch it.
Yeah,
Parker
and,
Luck. Hey, Parker Luck.
Hey, Parker Luck.
And also, I just they didn't explain that he had to write. They was forced to write that people made met a bad ending in these stories. That was the only part that you're saying is basically was his nature, and that's what he gravitated towards in terms of.
Well, that's part of it, and it's also the case that that Mr. Morton tells him that he has to choose the ending. So pretty much if you're writing a story and you start to build up the characters, and then you reach this point where there's some type of horrible conflict or something's going to happen, you have to finish the story. So there's a definite flow to the story, and he doesn't want to betray the flow of the story. So I think he also went along with what Death, the Devil, or the Alien, whatever it was already writing, right?
Yeah. So I think it would have worked as a Twilight Zone, definitely. Yeah. And next week you get Boris Karloff on this show too. So I don't know if
oh my God, I could believe. Whoa, okay, what see that was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does he say exactly? Hold on for 1 minute. I believe that Mr. Morton says.
Mr. Morton.
Yes. Yeah, it's that. Yeah. So Bert Tyler must complete Mr. Morton's unfinished stories. So he has to go in and he has to write the ending. So yeah. It's such a shame that he was like the murder and mayhem writer.
Yeah.
And but I mean, there's a bigger lesson there too, because he wasn't quite as moved by the killings as his wife was. His wife was very upset about it. She didn't want him to have that power. She thought it was evil and wrong and revolting. Whereas he sort of kind of doesn't really feel bad about it at all. And so when he goes back to write like that again, I mean, he didn't mind, sort of meting out that justice on people who he didn't know, because he didn't feel anything from the beginning. So I think Man Rubin is trying to show us that this guy was quite belligerent. He was wrapped up in himself and his own fame and his own craft, and he didn't really care about people around him, and certainly he didn't care about strangers or what his words might do to strangers. So, I mean, yeah, there's lots of juicy stuff to unpack here.
Yeah, and plus they were giving the money back to the wife. So he said, "I'm going to give it back," and so she was supporting him. And
Salty. Get out, boy. You
Yeah,
hungry
you're in
boy.
trouble, hungry boy.
Oh
More
my
insult.
goodness.
Yeah. But
Nice. How
I
dare
mean,
you?
yeah, that was just a bad dad joke. Very bad, very bad. But
Yeah.
now what was I saying? I can't
You,
remember.
you were basically told hungry boy.
Agonizer, please.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. Now I forgot what my other train of thought was though. But see what happens when you're
Fiona, my goodness.
having enough coffee.
I like that. Man, I knew I recognized Mr. Borton. He played the bookstore owner in the TV show Banachek. That's very obscure. Good show.
Wow.
He supplied George Papard with info. Was his friend and did half of the comic relief. Well, there you go. I haven't watched that in ages, Fiona. Where are you getting that from? You have Banachek on DVD or something? The buddy of mine said that I think he's got the first season or so. They put what they get. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Or
Warner
on
Archive.
VHS tape, probably VHS.
Warner Archive.
Tape.
No, it's out on DVD.
I'm joking. Yeah,
That
yeah,
was a good show.
yeah.
So, Clubby, what did you give it? What's your rating?
Oh, I definitely given this one a 10 just for the
Yay!
The-
And Mark?
Oh, this is a 9. I think it's just missing a couple of those things, but they're very.
You have
minor.
to rewatch it.
I have to rewatch it. I'm giving it a 9 because I
This
didn't like.
time, pay attention.
But yeah,
In
they're
that
pretty
case, I'm
good.
giving
I
it
would have
a
gotten
7.5.
a B in class.
I think you could have sailed by with a B.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that they just needed to explain better for me why he had to write the stories that way. That the characters
Because he
met.
was working for the
but-
devil, Mark.
Yeah, but they didn't explain that the guy said, "Oh, well, the characters have to meet their end," or they could have won the lottery. That's all. That's only my point. As a writer, I would have had them all. I'm giving them all happy endings. I'm not a dark, depressing guy.
You're a Boy Scout leader.
You're not Warren Ellis
No, I'm definitely not.
or Mark Miller.
Not a grabber.
He's another grabber. Yeah. Well,
So Raquel's a 10, I'm sure, right on this one.
Yeah, this is a 10. This is a definite 10 for me. I cannot believe what was accomplished in 22 minutes. I do not find any of the flaws that Mark found, but I, of course, paid attention while I was watching it. I definitely encourage you to watch it because it is some of the best of Tales of Tomorrow,
Mark
even though
hates
it's not
everything.
science fiction.
It's
Mark
a great
hates
watch.
everything.
Too. Yeah, I hate everything. Yeah, no, it's a great watch. Yeah.
Shame on you, Mark. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you gave it a 9 out of 10. Yeah. What are you thinking? Yeah.
Yeah, well, how could you do that, Mark? So now we should throw it over to the chat. Chat, did you have a chance to watch this episode? If you did, now would be the time to chime
yeah.
in.
Any views about the episode?
Yeah.
And Susan, again, thank you for being a member. Parker Luck asked, let me answer this question really quickly while you're doing that. Guys, Clubhouse. I usually catch you on Star Trek Review series mostly. I was wondering if you're planning to review the Captain America movies of the MCU at all. And if not, why not? Well, I don't think I've ever. I love those, by the way. I don't know if I've ever reviewed them. I haven't really reviewed any of their. Yeah, well, I have reviewed back when they were coming out when I was still liking the MCU movies. I probably did review them way back then. I think I did, but who knows? I might just review the Cap movies. That's a good idea. I have them ranked. I've ranked all the MCU/MCU movies, and a couple of times I've done a couple of shows where my good buddy, my retro blasting buddy, Michael French, and I have counted down our list of our ranking. So I have them all ranked. And one night when I'm doing an open show, if you'll pop in, Parker, like on a Wednesday night when I'm doing an open wild card show, I'll read you the list of the rankings. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe we'll do a Captain America show where we review those movies because it's a good idea. And by the way, the actor playing Morton, I've seen him on some stuff also. I'm not sure. I haven't seen Banachek in 40 years, 30 or more, 50 years.
Yeah,
But I
Murray
don't know.
Matheson is the actor.
But I know that guy, yeah.
Twilight Zone, the movie. Banachek is Princess said One Step Beyond, Battlestar Galactica, Facts of Life, one episode.
Oh boy.
But he looks like a character actor. Tons of Charlie's Angels.
He's evil.
Heart
He
to
has
Heart.
a very, very evil smile.
Good actor.
He plays the devil / death / whatever alien, whatever man Ruben doesn't tell us. He plays it so well. So well.
Now,
5-0.
No, Nicholas.
Draw
no,
that man
Nicholas.
in a chicken suit. It's the chicken man!
Let's see here. So, afraid not. No, Neelix Quagdar. JT Kirk says, gives it A+, a great episode, written, produced, shot, directed, mixed, edited, and captioned by Jennifer Lawrence. She was busy.
Oh, he was in the Botany Bay.
Could
in
not be
1952.
Nice.
Could not be reached. What's up? So, are we ready to
Let's move on.
review something else?
Mindbender, UFO.
Mindbender.
Yep, let me get that
Season
rolling.
1, episode 14 USA, ITV episode 17, production code 25, first aired on January 13th, 1971. Mark, did you take
Let
out?
me get the book, but let me get the slideshow.
Did you put on your gloves?
Well, let me get my gloves on. But you know what I had tonight?
Did you insert a breath mint in your mouth?
I will, but I didn't have French fries tonight. I actually had I have to admit it, I had shrimp and pasta. Pasta actually bought back from Italy, so I had sea bugs and pasta time. It was excellent with garlic and butter. So
no pizza.
But I better wash my hands again.
Wasn't like all spoiled by the time we got back from Italy?
The pasta was, pasta's dried, so that's okay. Not cooked pasta. Yeah, I'm being a wise guy, but yeah, we had brought the pasta back.
Look, when you go near the holy book, make sure you use a breath mint and make sure you have on your clean white gloves.
For sure. Yep. Well, let me get the slideshow going here.
Don't violate the book.
Get it going.
Yep. There we go.
I've got the batter taken care of.
Yep. Let me get. Let's see. Oh, I gotta do. Yep. Here we go. Virtual camera. Camera. There we go. Let's make me full screen. All right. So let me get the book out. Get my glasses on. And let's hit play. There we go. Okay. So Mindbender is the episode. And this is a freaky deaky episode, I must say. But
make
let me
sure
turn on the lights here.
Abide copyright.
Ready for the devil in the monkey hand episode.
So I'm reading from the complete book of Jerry Anderson's UFO.
Yay!
By Chris Bentley with forward by Straker himself, Ed Bishop. So Mindbender, teleplay by Tony Barwick, directed by Ken Turner. After a UFO inexplicably explodes over the lunar surface, Lieutenants Conroy and Dale examine the crash site. Conroy discovers a large moon diamond, but then back at Moonbase, he goes on a rampage, attacking Lieutenant Barry, shooting Dale, exchanging gunfire with Straker and Foster in the belief that he's fighting off Mexican bandits. He's finally shot down and killed. Henderson pressures Straker for an explanation, but the commander is baffled. Then Captain Beaver James shoots a guard and takes Colonel Lake hostage in shadow control, seeing his shadow colleagues only as aliens who have invaded the complex. Realizing they can't get through to him, Straker orders Foster to shoot James down. Foster brings Conroy's personal effects to Straker's office, explaining that checking over them was the last thing James did before he started to hallucinate. Straker picks up the moon diamond as he wonders about the nature of Conroy's hallucinations. But then Henderson arrives, provoking an argument. Straker is about to strike Henderson when suddenly he finds that he's standing on a film set in the middle of acting out a scene. The camera crew all seem to think that he's Howard Byrne, an egotistical television actor with whom he had a meeting earlier. In the studio grounds, he chases a man who looks like his double, but turns out to be Howard Byrne, claiming to be his own stand-in. Then he's directed to Theater 7 by Miss Eland to watch rushes which show the UFO attack on the minister's Rolls Royce in 1970 and his son John's visit to the studio shortly before his death. Foster arrives claiming to be an actor called Mike, and together they watch footage of John's accident and death. Straker realizes that these are his memories on screen, and the situation is all in his mind. He returns to stage 5 and the set of his shadow office, reenacting the argument with Henderson. But when he reaches the point where he's about to strike Henderson, he instead picks up the moon diamond and throws it against the wall, smashing it. Straker returns to normality and discovers that under the influence of the diamond, he had gone berserk in shadow control, wrecking computers and equipment. He surmises that the diamond was a form of mental booby trap designed to bend the mind of anyone who came into contact with it, left on the lunar surface by the UFO with the intention of destroying Shadow from within. And, you know, there's one thing that they didn't mention in this summary that we have a special treat for that because yeah, they left out the one part where what happens in that movie theater. So this is
Yeah, they did leave it out.
this is just for Raquel.
Crazy.
So good. Oh God, I love our chief engineer.
So I did that during the show. If I seemed a little distracted, that's why I was doing like 2 or 3 things at once. So
It just popped
Yeah.
in there. That was
I did that
obviously
during the show.
it would have been obvious, huh?
So funny, so funny, and it makes such a good sound. Just thunk. It's because Paul's
Thunk.
head's made out of wood.
That's it. I would. They're gonna remove you as the head of the fan club for talk like that.
Oh, boo-hoo.
All right, so let me get to the notes, and maybe we'll play that again later. But the script for this episode was written as a cost-saving exercise, utilizing only standing sets, studio location, stock visual effects footage. and
Wait
material
one
from
second.
early
I'm sorry to
episodes.
interrupt,
Sure.
but could you please just play that one more time?
Crazy.
I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Oh
We're
man.
not condoning violence towards fictional characters here. Yep.
Comedy gold. This is beautiful. It's cherry. That's cherry, baby.
Thank you. Yep.
Well
Okay,
done.
so here we go.
Well-
the role
well
of
done, dude.
Lieutenant I get to keep my job. Good. The role of Lieutenant Conroy was written as a new character, Lieutenant Tranter, but was changed when it was decided that Al Mancini would reprise his character from The Cat with 10 Lives. Beaver James is written as Beaver Jones, and Miss Eland's role was originally written for temporary secretary Miss Holland. Conroy's hallucinatory gunfight with Straker and Foster in a Mexican village was an unscripted additional scene filmed on a Spanish Pueblo standing set at
No
Pinewood
way.
Studios that was previously seen as the site for Foster's fight with Reagan and the Cat with 10 Lives. As scripted, Straker would have agreed to give Howard Byrne script approval, the obnoxious actor with the swirled head, but this was changed as it was not felt to be true to Straker's character to give in to the actor's demands. So that was a really good scene there.
Mm-hmm.
Many of the scenes in the studio lot were shot in the area surrounding the Jay and Cage stage block at Pinewood Studios. Straker is also seen emerging from the studios Heatherton Hall, a 19th century mansion around which the studios were constructed in 1935-36. He chases Joe, the stand-in around the hall's ornamental gardens, and then visits the studio's 7 screening theater. The rushes that Straker watches in Theater 7 and the hallucination footage is from Identified in a Question of Priorities. And they picked the Question of Priorities. That's a brutal scene to have picked again, but it made it hit home even more. The guest performers who appear in these sequences are credited on the end titles. So, and there's no oops for this episode for this one, but there's a lot of cast stuff, but we probably want to talk about it. And Larry had a question too, if it was Sylvia Anderson. I was trying to look that up.
About what?
As the guest cat, as the crew in the background.
Yeah,
But I wasn't.
She's listed.
Oh, she's listed, and
Yeah,
she's not
she's
listed in.
listed. Yeah.
She's not listed in the book, is she?
She is. She's listed all over the internet, though. It's all over the internet. I don't think it's in the book. My book is in the front room, but she is listed.
Yeah, they don't. I was surprised they didn't mention that in the book. When I looked at it, they mentioned the Mexican bandits, and they
It's
mentioned.
because she's uncredited. She's
Oh, okay.
officially uncredited.
Uncredited cast. They have Shadow Operative, Maxwell Craig, Alien, Cheeto Santana, but they don't list anyone else. But I was surprised by that. But I thought it made sense that would be her there.
Yeah, that
next to
is
the
her.
director's chair.
Yeah.
So they do list the film director as Stephen Chase, Lieutenant Dale Craig Hunter, first assistant director Norton Clark, second assistant director Paul Grieve. So I wonder if those are the people that were talking. Yep.
Well, we've got for that what we have from the internet, the collected internet. What we have is Philip Maddock plays Stephen Rutland. Stephen Chase plays the film director. Norton Clark plays the first assistant director. Paul Greaves plays the second assistant director. James Marcus plays the shadow operative. Peter Halliday plays Dr. Siegel. And Sylvia is played by Sylvia Anderson.
Oh, see, they don't list Sylvia Anderson in the book, so this book just lost a notch.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, that's your answer, Larry.
No book is perfect.
Yeah, but I guess they wanted to keep
Did the book hear you talking like that?
I hope not, because
now you have to avert your eyes. Don't even look at the book.
Yeah, don't even look at it. Yeah.
Yes. I hear Sylvia was a looker at the time.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. Look at the way she dressed people.
Yeah, well, that's what happens, right?
Martin, would you do me a favor? Could you please play that wonderful clip where Straker smacks Paul?
Is that your new favorite clip now?
Oh, you have no idea.
Crazy.
There you go.
Come on. It's just cherry. It's good. It's a gooder. It's good stuff.
Glad you like it.
I'm almost crying. I'm laughing so hard. That's not good.
Fiona
that's not good. That's glorious. Okay.
Fiona wishes it was Rachel Zegler's face.
We couldn't do that to lovely Snow White.
Snow what?
Snow White, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to just dive into my notes so we have a bunch of talking points. Let's do it, folks. Boy. I adore this episode. I absolutely love the idea of hallucinations. The whole hallucination idea here works perfectly. And I love that it is all conducted through the stone. A lot of people believed in crystals and stones back then. And, everyone, the hippie generation.
Pet rocks.
1971, right? I don't like that Nina Barry gets hit. And I don't like the carnage and the violence, but I love the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I love that Conroy is a Western author. And so that's how that comes into play, is behind the scenes, Conroy's writing Westerns. Isn't that cool? I absolutely love Nina Barry. What a goddess. I mean, the woman is an absolute goddess. She's one of the most beautiful women to ever be on television. Like, I can't even believe a lady that pretty lives, that she existed. Gorgeous.
Isn't that our line, Mike? Just kidding.
I've said that a few times. Can't believe the girl like that, beautiful, it actually even exists. Yeah, I have said it. Turing Machine. Beautiful. Hello, Turing Machine.
Dolores Mantez is like, she's just beyond, like, I can't even believe that somebody like that was born. She's just absolutely gorgeous. Anyways, it is so good to, I have nothing against Holland, but I'm so happy to see Eland. I just think she's a cutie patootie. I love that character. And of course, I love Norma Ronald, who plays her. I just think she's just cool. I love that Straker steals Lake's coffee. I love all the sexual tension between Straker in Lake, when he just walks right over and she has this very sexy smirk on her face as he takes the coffee from her mouth and puts it to his mouth. I love that kind of thing. Like, you know, I know lots of ladies like the romancy pantsy stuff. I absolutely hate it. But I love smart and sexy. And that scene is just smart and sexy and very subtle and most enjoyable. Hendo alert, Hendo alert. I love that Straker is harassed about ballooning costs. I love this throughout this show. People saying, you know, why don't they have more of this? Why don't they have more of that? Shadow is on a budget. It has limits, just like NASA. And I love that part of
Yeah.
this show, that they don't give into it. It's not like there's this never-ending $1 trillion budget to build whatever you want. We run out on this show. And I love that we talk about running out, because that presents another danger. And it's easy when you're an author to just make it seem like, oh, that's never ending supply. And because, you know, it makes it easier to write whatever you want, but it's smarter and better to show restraint and to add that realism component to it. It improves the writing, and it totally improves the way that people view the show. You know what I'm saying? So I love that they have a budget. I believe that this is like one of the best scripts in all of UFO. I love Ed with the narcissistic actor. I love that he admonishes him and tells him that he has a swelling, and he takes just a little bit of a pregnant pause and then says between the ears, and so it helps you to realize that he could be talking about the fact that he is a DICK, but really the swelling is his head, it's his ego. So I love that moment as well. Lots of subtle good stuff happening here. I love how Straker slips into his hallucination. I like how we escape into his mind. I like how in Straker's mind, Paul is a sadistic creep, and I thoroughly enjoy. This is in my notes. I thoroughly enjoy watching Paul get slapped. He has this gross, sadistic, creepy smile, and I'm so happy that Straker just wallops him. And I have to say, the music in
I thought that was my cue to play that.
I'm sorry. Sorry, number one. I didn't do it either.
I'm sorry, Raquel. Oh, I think because she was out of sync. That was weird. Yep, she should be back now. I'm sorry. You know, I got to clip it so it's just the slap. Maybe I'll do that too, so we just can get the slap in there.
I like the overkill.
I'm back.
I like the overkill.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. I'm pretty far behind you. I think it's about 6 seconds that I'm behind you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you all heard me say this. I love that you're playing that, by the way, Mark. But I have to say that this is a standout episode for the music. I guess we would call that the score. It's so good. It's just outstanding, and it aids the storytelling here, much in the same way that the orchestration aids all of the storytelling in Star Trek. So here we see that same thing happening, and it's just delightful. Your heart is soaring. You get that sense of tension. You get that sense of evil, and you're not just getting it from the actors. You're getting it through that beautiful ambience of I guess what geeks would call the score. And so I thought that it was worth mentioning because it really does stand out in this episode. I absolutely love this episode. I love all of UFO. As you well know, there's only one episode that I don't like. And this is an A++ for me. It's just fabulous. I keep watching it for the rest of my life. And that's it.
Especially this
Love it.
one, right?
Yeah, it's so good. And I mean, and Paul gets slapped hard.
Does he? Are you sure? I don't remember that. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Prove it. See, you didn't prove it.
Am I still here? Oh, I'm still here. Oh, I thought he might play, so I decided to be quiet.
Nah.
Okay, a hungry boy is correcting me. So nerds call it a score, geeks call it a soundtrack. Okay, all right. So
Yeah,
all
but-
right, I'll just stick with my nerdy stuff. The score.
It can't be played. Never. I mean, crazy.
Well, the other clips that you played before, that was when you said, "Don't even touch it." That's what Spinal Tap's a guitar.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
don't touch it. So,
Yeah, don't touch it. Avert your eyes.
yeah.
Don't even.
And then he
touch
goes, he gets so mad. He's like, "Don't even look at it."
Can't be
Yeah,
played.
don't.
Never.
Why are you looking at it?
No. No, you've seen enough of that one.
You can't even look at it. Oh, good. Classic stuff. But I'm gonna clip that so we can just have this, just the slap too, maybe. If some, yeah. just
I like it, but I like the overkill of it. You do it. You could do it like
Yeah.
20 times. It would be funny.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Sorry, I'm about 6 seconds behind you, but I just want you to know that I don't care if I'm 6 seconds behind. It's worth the 6 seconds. So the multiple slaps are just, they're so
That's
good for
that's
me.
what sells it. Yeah.
It does. I mean, it works so lovely. I mean, it almost
you.
makes it worth it to watch Ordeal. Like if I have to watch Ordeal and I have to endure an entire episode dedicated to Paul Foster, I should be able to turn this on periodically just to make myself feel better.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's a great one. It's very, it is again, I guess I'm just going to be a broken record and say it's a prisoner-esque, but it is. There's another episode where it has some of a feel of it, things like that. Sort of almost a Living in Harmony. In fact, one of the guys that was one of the Benditos or whatever was in Living in Harmony, the Western episode of The Prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it. Again, yeah, it's just a great. Now some parts were a little confusing, but in the sense that I wasn't exactly sure what was going on. But I think that part was the part that I missed last night when I was watching part of it. But I went back and ran it back a little bit last night. I mean, a little bit today before we came in here and watched it all. I think I did. I caught everything. But yeah, it's just terrific.
Yeah, I love
Great
it.
episode.
I absolutely love it. Mark, what was your grade for this one?
Oh, this is an A. Yeah, this is definitely.
Yeah, I give it an A also.
Classic. Yeah, it's just so good. And the only thing that I thought, this is nitpicking as an engineer, I think the moon base and Shadow should have had a better protocol if someone had gone crazy on the base. It's a military installation, so the moon base especially, they would have had a lockdown, or and especially then the colonel walks into the gun at the end and it comes off the elevator. Like they should have had a lockdown order or some kind of protocol, so the episode loses a few nitpicking points. That would have been my oops. They could have explained it better or done had something. But yeah, military top secret base like that, they're gonna have something where they red alert basically, and everyone locked down, and be able to not that the guy can't do damage or wouldn't have killed people, but just Virginia Lake walking into his arms at the end. It's like, didn't someone tell anyone that there's a nut, guy, someone's going crazy with a gun? So that's my minor, my very minor nitpick.
Your minor nitpick. I miss people saying cracking up. Is he cracking up?
Cracking up, yeah.
Yeah.
He did
Just
crack
like
up, yeah.
Clobby says that word, that word sounds so vulgar. Like FART is such a vulgar word. It is far more vulgar than any other profanity as far as I'm concerned. And so is SNOT. And I absolutely love that Clobby calls people that name like they did in the 80s. I miss that. I miss that.
What's
Oh,
name?
is he ever an SNOT? I love it when Clobby does that. And I miss cracking up. Is he cracking up?
Yes, he is. Yep. And
Yeah.
he did. Yep.
Yeah. I just say he snaps his crayons, but I like cracking up. Is he cracking up? Yeah.
Oh, HB's telling me, yeah, damn it, Mark. and after that fab point, I got to rate it lower. Well, you don't have. I mean, it's just a minor thing that it's not that bad, but that just kind of caught my attention, especially when you watch a show and you're everything else is so well done. I don't know if you guys thought of that, but
yeah. Well, one of the things, since we're getting close to the, as we said, we're getting close to the end of the episodes. One of the things that strikes me is that they, again, I don't know this. I've not read that whole book yet. Maybe you guys will see some things in the book that will answer questions like this. It seems to me like they had some kind of a long range plan, because here we are. This is what, episode 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
that's where we're at basically, and we don't know what the alien. We know almost nothing about the aliens. We do know that they know a hell of a lot about us. I mean, obviously, the very first episode that takes place 10 years before the second episode. So that means, and they knew enough to to go after. They knew where classified people were going to be, such as at the beginning of that episode when they make the attack on Straker and the general. So these aliens know all about us. They know. Again, who are they after again in this one? Straker. They know enough to know about Straker to go after us. We know nothing. Our Straker knows nothing about them. Almost nothing. Not even what they're after necessarily. Not even why they're doing this. None of those things. And we're 25 episodes in.
Well,
and I want to know more, and I guess we'll never know.
Well, and I think, I just wish that there were that we had way more on UFO, so that we could end the speculation, because I don't know how you felt, Clobby, but I definitely got the prisoner vibes, but I also got a lot of the menagerie vibes. I felt like, okay, we're running out of money. What can we do that's exceedingly clever that makes it seem like we're not running out of money? Because those sequences, they were quite long, and I think they could have been shorter. But I mean, now you've fallen in love, and here you are at 25, and there's only 26. So I would suspect that this was a menagerie type of situation, in trying to save money, and we're at the end. And when they went and asked the public what they thought, the public basically said, no, like we would watch this show again if it was more about the moon base girls. And then they went and gave us the moon as a spaceship in Space 1999, right? So the moon becomes this spaceship. So, but I don't know how you feel about that, but whenever I rewatch this always strikes me as that, oh God, this is happening behind the scenes. But, as Star Trek, we have that honesty. We have that wealth of data. We have that wealth of information available to us. And with UFO, we don't. But I got menagerie vibes. How about you?
Yes. No, absolutely. Again, because there's sometimes we don't know what is illusion and what is reality. Yeah, I mean, they do walk that line. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Right. So
yeah,
it's like they took all of this from the previous episodes and cut it all up and reused it, killed time, saved money. This is a show in trouble, and as good as this episode is, as spectacular as this episode is, you're beginning to see the cracks. You can see the open wound. They've run out of money now, and when that happened with Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry said, I have a great idea, let's do the menagerie. And so he got to not only put his pilot out there and give two gigantic middle fingers, he could say up yours to all those people who said his show that the pilot was the cage was too cerebral, but it saved a ton of money, so they could do another episode and do something truly special. So I mean, here we see the Andersons massaging their material in the same way that Gene Roddenberry massaged his material in order to maximize the value from it. So it's just really sad. I mean, 26. Can you guys believe we only got 26? Don Power Ranger!
Don.
Don.
It's just
Of course, a lot of shows do.
Damn shame.
A lot of shows do bottle episodes, and if you can do one this well, it's not so bad to save money, and then you knock out of the park like this one.
Yeah.
Especially the footage they reused, and it made sense too. It's just like the menagerie is
Mhm.
just so amazing to see that, the first time,
Mhm.
getting to see that, getting to see those scenes,
Mhm.
and then you finally, years later, you finally get to see the whole thing cut together as is, but and part of it in black and white, which was always interesting to watch.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, this is just really well done, and great acting, and you really feel for Straker here because God, he goes through the ringer at the end, and then the fight with Henderson is just so well done too. You forget yourself that that a certain point it flips into uh, uh, the delusion of the dream or the nightmare, whatever you want to call it. And those guys are both going at it just so well, letting
Mhm.
all their emotions out, and it's very, very believable. They're both really good actors. Like, wait, Straker's
Right.
gonna take out Henry. Then you realize, oh, not now he's hallucinating. Now he's grabbed the moon rock, and the explanation for getting the rock to the surface made sense too, because they said, oh,
Mhm.
it looks like a diamond, but it's really worthless. It's not worth anything. But I can use it as a paperweight and
Fool's
wait, and
gold.
maybe impress a girl with it, right? So the
Yeah,
guys,
they call it fool's gold. Well, they
right?
compare it to fool's gold. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just it's not worth anything, and it's just something no one even thinks of, and
Well, how
there's
many
no
people were
protocol.
asking for moon rocks at that point though too, right? Like everyone thought, am I going to get a moon rock? Could I buy a
Yeah.
moon rock? So I mean, it makes sense in socio-historical context, right?
I guess though,
Yep.
would he explain that he's an astronaut just because he couldn't say what he was doing up there, right? I guess he could say he's
Mhm.
going up to the moon. I guess people, well, they wouldn't. But what was their cover for Shadow at one point that was a civilian? Yeah, because remember the episode where they had the civilians on the moon,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
I guess they said it was just it was
Mhm. A
well, they said it was
corporation.
military, but they didn't say what
Yeah.
Shadow was doing. I guess they knew it was just military, but
Yeah. Well, they were all
yeah,
sworn to secrecy. And if you were foolish enough to speak, you get yourself into a lot of trouble. But I know Straker just mind wiped them all. I don't think he left anything
oh
to
yeah,
chance.
the moon people once they
You
found out, but
tell him everything, and then have Dr. Jackson mind wipe them.
But originally going to the moon, the cover story was they're just another it's a they knew they were a military base, but they didn't know anything
Mhm.
about what was going on.
Mhm.
So that's and then one other episode, now that we're kind of going back on, there's only one more to go. One episode did kind of explain bare bones about the aliens, right? We find out that they're stealing
Mhm.
body parts and
Yep.
some vague, but yeah, you're right, Clobbering Times. You never get that definitive.
You
There's
don't.
no definitive answer of what they're doing, or you find out at one point that doesn't one alien say that their world is dying at one point,
Mhm.
or
Yep. Yep.
I think that's what you get, right? So
Yep.
but you don't know if they're trying to take over the earth or just steal stuff from us, or
Well, no, we do find out in a couple of episodes that they are trying to take over the earth, but they're so twisted that they don't think that what they're doing is wrong. So there is a point where we're meant to entertain that it is such a great distance that is the reason for what has happened to their bodies, and then we have some confirmation that they're harvesting organs, and then we find out that they're actually harvesting whole bodies, because they are a dying race, right?
yeah.
And I think certainly they would love to take over Earth. Yes, JT Kirk, Clubby just stepped away for a few minutes. Yeah,
He'll be back. Yep.
yeah, but he'll be right back for sure. Yeah, so I just like they get so much done in 26 episodes, and this series is just so beautiful. I mean, next week will be The Long Sleep. Um and I'm so sad that we're done, and of course I'm going to rewatch it. I'm going to keep on rewatching it. But I just wish there would have been more. This show deserved 178 episodes, not 26. Oh, it's just
Yeah.
so sad.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yes. That's the saddest part, that it's almost gone. Some of the stuff you were saying, that remember there were a couple of episodes that almost made you think that there's some aliens that aren't so bad.
That's right. You
It's
actually
also
see
interesting.
their culture of their own morals and ethics. We see this on the moon when there's an accident, an alien sacrifices his life to save Paul. You know, and we see them some of them trying to forge relationships. We even have that one episode where it appears one is trying to escape when he goes to the old lady with the parrot.
Right.
I believe that he fully wanted to stay on Earth.
But you know what you wanted to do, that alien on the moon was Sam Foster. Oh, it's almost too fast. I'm gonna have to slow that one down a little. I just did the slapped. That's almost too fast. So I gotta see it. Yeah, it's so fast.
I was gonna say, you know, the aliens are nicer to Foster than Raquel is.
Yeah, well, you know, he is Paul Foster, and he messes with my Straker. You mess with the Straker. That's it.
Right?
Yeah, well,
in big trouble.
watch it a couple of times like I have, and you'll understand why. Like that one episode ordeal. It's just he reveals what a jerk off he is, you know? Like
Bubba Doom.
Bubba Doom. He says, holy cow, folks, I'm turning into my old man. I zonked out in my chair right after getting here. I just woke up. Bubba Doom, I love you. You're such a sweet grandpa and such a wonderful person.
Yes, sir. Good to see you.
Yeah. What was I saying? Just always, like when Dr. Jackson says, well, no, actually, his behavior outside of this had nothing to do with his brainwashing. He was brainwashed to kill Stricker, but he wasn't brainwashed to do all and say all of those other things. That had nothing to do with it. He was saying and doing all of that on his own. And when Dr. Jackson makes it clear, it's like, okay, so Paul looked Ed directly in the eyes and said, you suck at your job. I'm going to replace you. I'm coming for you. And I don't think you're good at what you do. Just after that, like watch UFO a few times like I have. And then you're just like, by like the fifth or sixth time you hear Paul say that, you're like, F you, Paul. Who do you even think you are right now, Paul Foster? Shin kicks.
He was just being a guy. Guys are that way with each other, you know. He's been, you know.
He gave his son's life.
Nobody knows about that, though. Now, I wonder, Alec, what, man, see, there's an untold story there where Alec probably got killed or something that makes me bummer.
I miss Alec.
Bums me
Alec
out.
Freeman is cool.
Yep. Unfortunately, it wasn't good looking enough, right?
Yeah, they needed more women because the everyone in the audience, like we used to have a traditional ratings process for communications and television, and everyone expressed like they were very enthusiastic to support the beautiful women. These were also women who were in unprecedented power positions, Jennifer Lawrence notwithstanding. And so to see women so high in the military and also gorgeous and also brilliant and also in charge and all these things, the public really liked that. So they wanted more beautiful, powerful women. And they answered. And I'm sad because you all know how I feel about Alec Freeman. Alec Freeman is Dr. McCoy in this series. He's like this just true blue sweetheart of a man who would never betray your trust. And he takes himself outside of situations when he's giving you advice. Because he knows that you are going to be the only person who has to suffer your own decisions. So his advice, he gives it in such a way that he doesn't harm other people. And he's so conscientious, and he's also a really good leader, and he's also a really good follower. He's incredibly loyal, unlike Paul Foster. He's incredibly loyal to Ed Straker, and also loyal to everyone in Shadow. He's a phenomenal person. He is Dr. McCoy. He's Bones in this series. So I adore him and I miss him, and it sucks. Some people don't think he's pretty. I think he's pretty. He's pretty on the inside.
Well, it's not like you didn't have a ton of beautiful ladies already on the show, too,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the quota there? But I guess they wanted someone who had more of a speaking role. And at one point I read too, I can't remember, haven't found it in the book yet, and I'd mentioned it earlier, that because of the delay between they took an 8-month break doing the first season, that somewhere I read that he wasn't available now. And you've also read that it was just because they wanted to, replace
Yeah, I read
replace
that
him,
in a
which
couple
probably
of
makes more
places.
sense. That probably makes more sense. Maybe it was, but I'm still trying to find where I read that
Yeah.
somewhere in my memory banks. But
Well, that's the thing, is you just have to say that it's speculation to people too, because like
yeah,
you're getting it off the internet. And the one bad thing about UFO, that's what I was saying, like every episode we reviewed, I would just say, hey Clobby, can you please remind people that if they're working on Wikipedia, if they're an editor on Wikipedia, or if they're an editor on any of these user generated fan sites, to please start adding information to UFO. And get that in-text citation, get it done and dusted. I mean, a good portion, I would say a good portion, I wouldn't know the exact numbers, I'd need to look them up, but a good portion of these episodes don't even have a Wikipedia page. So
yeah.
no one is caretaking UFO. And so we want to know more. We're Star Trek
Well,
fans. We
the
want to know
good thing
more.
is there are a few fan sites that have been posting. So you've got the Fanderson .org.uk. People scroll up in the chat, and I usually put them in the show notes for the watch parties.
Mhm.
There's a shadowlibrary.org, which is really good.
Yeah.
So there are some, but they're not like on Wikipedia, where they're kind of obscure sites, unfortunately, I think.
Yeah.
But like this shadowlibrary.org is fantastic. But I can't remember where I read that. I can't remember if I read it in a book somewhere or I read it on the
It's
interwebs.
Yeah, it's
So
like that,
speculation. Yeah.
this is what I'm saying. Like the vast majority of the public, as you all know, I think Wikipedia is a cesspool, and Memory Alpha used to be good, but now it's a landfill of poopy diapers. But the thing is that we can raise the stock of the Fanderson sites if people are willing, with their power on these user-generated sites, to make sure that in-text citation is always the Fanderson site. Then the Fanderson sites will become as big as IMDb. They'll become as big as Wikipedia. They'll become as big as Memory Alpha, because people will trust the information that's being sent there, and they'll be able to go and get the information from the Fanderson sites. So I would like to see some effort in that way, just to get the general public. Like, you don't have to be a diehard academic like me, where you're like making sure that every single thing that you say is written in stone and peer reviewed somewhere. You know what I mean? But like it's nice to have the facts, and we need more facts for this show. And the general public, the first place they go is Wikipedia. And I'd like to build the audience for UFO. Somebody needs to caretake this show. Somebody needs to show the loyalty towards this show, and try and get it out there with the gen pop, with the normies. And we'll benefit from that. We'll get more books. Maybe we could bring down the prices of some of these books. Maybe we could have a reissuing of the DVDs and bring down the prices substantially. I'd like to see it get a little bit bigger. I love UFO. You guys know UFO's my baby. I want to see my baby graduate and go on to great things.
Unfortunately, I think it's going to stick in the realm of a smaller audience, which is sad.
I
But
know.
hopefully I'm wrong. But I didn't. I think I remember watching a couple of these episodes years ago, or hearing about it, but never went through, episode by episode. And that's why it's I guess if you can support, buy some stuff from Fanderson or from their
Yeah.
website, and or if a lot of people, if you stream the show on Roku or Amazon, it's free on Roku, and it's HD on Roku too, which is gorgeous. It's better than better than these old DVDs I'm watching. So that's another great thing, think that you could watch. You kids don't know how good you have it today. I mean, with all this streaming stuff, it's if you had told me 30 years ago I'd have Star Trek on a pad device that I saw on Next Gen, and I could watch any episode of Star Trek or talk to people across the country, video screen, like on 2001 A Space Odyssey. I mean, it's like magic. So yeah, we do, as crummy as things are and some things, technology wise, things are pretty darn good right now, I have to say.
Yeah,
so
they are yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Oh, and I do have the guest cast I could read.
Oh,
Skim through
yeah.
that, too,
Go
to
for
see.
it.
We want to. Oh, let me get the book here, and let me make sure I get
Can
my
you
gloves
believe
back
it's
on.
over, you guys? It's over.
Well, we
I
got
don't
one
want it to
more.
be over. I know, the long sleep.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's
Alma, yep, it's
who's the
sad. Yeah.
guest? One problem with the guest cast though is I just thought we should have one more. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Rob
one more.
Altus. Rob Altus.
And if anyone does annoy you, Raquel, I have the 2-second one here now. Let's see how this works. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. If someone says something really, really annoying.
Rob, how
Hey,
you
Rob.
doing, Rob? I'm
Hi,
on
Rob.
I'm about 6 seconds behind all of you, unfortunately, Rob.
Sorry.
So I didn't get to yell out your name, but I'm yelling it.
Yeah, and the slap was not directed. Rob is like just joining the show.
Yeah, I
what
was
else
just
going
saying.
on here? Yeah, this is
It was directed at her favorite character, Raquel's favorite.
And
Yeah.
Dorian
So,
Revenge. I love you, Larry.
What you got?
So here's
Cast?
here's the guest cast. Yeah, so Al
Oh, what?
Mancini, Andy Conroy. So he made a screen debut in The Dirty Game in 1965. He was in The Dirty Dozen, Don't
Oh,
Raise the Bridge, Lower the River, Madam Sin, episodes of The Prisoner,
yep.
Department S, Jason King, and Special Branch. Let's see. He was in Turk 182. Oh, I love that movie, Turk 182.
Oh, wow.
Timothy Hutton, yep. Big Business,
Robert
Miller's Crossing, Falling Down, 1993. All in the Family's Monsters, and NYPD Blue. Stuart Damon, Howard Byrne. He was debuted as Prince Charming in Cinderella. We can't talk about Cinderella now because she's probably like Snow White, going to be canceled soon. Let's see what I'm just going to skim what he was in. He's better known as Dr. Alan Quartermain in the daytime soap General Hospital, role that he's been playing since 1977. So he was in Young Doctors in Love, Star 80, episode of The Saints, Thriller, Space 1989, New Avengers, Fantasy Island, Perry Mason, and Hotel. Australian actor Charles Bud Tingwell, Beaver James.
That guy was a prisoner. But
Yep, he's Dr. Grant and Thunderbirds Are Go, 1966. Dr. Fawn and Captain Scarlet and the Mysterions. Several guest voices in Thunderbirds. And then regular role is Dr. Alan Dawson in Emergency Ward 10, not the UK show, not the Emergency.
UK, UK.
Yeah. Let's see. Co-star. Oh, he was also seen in Tarzan the Magnificent, 1960. Prince of Darkness, Dracula, Prince of Darkness, 66. He was in the Avengers. Adam Lives. He was also in Breaker Morant, 1980, another great movie. The Castle, The Dish, 2000s, episodes of The Prisoners, you said. Craig Hunter, Lieutenant Dale, appeared in The Sound of Silence. Before that, let's see, he was worn one of the UFO spacesuits as an astronaut in some episodes at Doomwatch and Reentry Forbidden with Grant Taylor. He subsequently appeared in The Clockwork Orange. James Marcus, Shadow Operative, also appeared in Clockwork Orange. He was in yes.
Could you look up from your book For Two Eggs of a Puppy's Tale? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Larry has a question for you while you're skimming through.
Oh, sure. Let me put my glasses on.
Oh
What
no,
about
you
Ham-
don't have to. I can just tell you. Larry's
It's
just
Hammer
asking
Films,
if he did any Hammer films.
Which actor?
Larry,
Which ones do you-
to whom do you refer?
Yep.
He'll respond right away.
And I'll keep going. So Maxwell Craig makes his 20th appearance in the series as Shadow Operative. He's also seen in 2001: A Space Odyssey. That's the only things anyone would recognize.
Guys,
And
I have to interject again. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
any actor.
I'm
Any
horrible
actor,
with this
okay.
stuff, but Mr. Angel has company over, and he's the ship chef. He is making breakfast for everyone, and
Hey,
he's
I want
going to
breakfast.
make some
Nice.
bread. He's going to make bread.
Yeah.
I wish. He says, have a nice weekend, all. So have a lovely weekend. I hope we see you on Saturday night, Star Trek, and have a wonderful breakfast.
All right,
Thank
buddy.
you for
Have a good
joining
one.
us, Chef.
I'll take some
stuff.
Eggs Benedict.
Oh, me too.
That's my favorite.
Larry's saying any actor.
Oh, any actor. Yeah, I saw
Most
that.
of them, yeah. I think you mentioned some Hammer films.
Yeah. So isn't Dracula? That's
Mm-hmm.
right. Who was that? That was where was it? Where did I read that? Let's see.
Eric K. Chef, you should have made enough for the whole class.
Yeah. Come on, Chef.
Yeah.
I want fresh bread with butter.
Yeah.
Lots of butter.
I'm trying to see. Oh, Madam's. I'm trying to remember some of the titles. Madam's Sin. Now let's see here. There's a Dracula one, I think. Oh,
Films were Hammer films. You didn't need to bother to continue with it. They weren't.
Darkness. I think that was a Hammer film, wasn't it?
Yep.
But of course, I don't think they don't list everything in this.
For that time, the era, all those movies, British horror film.
Yeah, and let's see what else. Oh, this premiered 8 p.m. Wednesday, January 13th, 1971. And it was filmed in Martin Cartage, Lay Hill, near Chesham, Buckinghamshire, Rutland's House. And of course, the recap also talked about where it was filmed. The one thing I didn't mention too, or it's so cool to see the sets. So you actually get to see the UFO sets in, as they appeared to the actors. So it's funny, Straker in that last scene where he's looking around, he's like, oh, I'm so glad to be back into reality, when in reality he's on a set, and you're picturing, seeing that set from overhead, or the moon base set. That was so wild to see. That was a great way to have, and I'm sure, like you said, some of the cast and crew, in addition to Sylvia Anderson, were in the background there, so they got to get on TV, which must have been a pretty big thrill. I can imagine them watching with their families, like, look, I got on TV. Yep. So that was I thought that was really cool to see how those sets are constructed, that the make-believe, but how real it looks, that moon set, and all the offices. But then when you pan out just a little bit, or just a few feet, and that, I guess actors get used to that, but for me, that would throw me off, I guess, to see how everyone looking at you. But so I thought that was a fun bit on the show too.
Well, we got review. We got a comic book to review.
Yeah, we're gonna roll. Yep.
I'm super excited about it. Everyone, do you know about Early Voyages? I didn't know about Early Voyages until Clubby taught me about Early Voyages, and it's been glorious. I'm using glorious a lot this evening. Must be all of this good material, exceptional material. So, Clubby,
ready?
Tell us more about Early Voyages. I'm very excited.
All righty. Well, of course, as you all may know now, I thought it would be cool to just do videos or whatever, short reviews of Star Trek comic books, which a few years ago when I first started over at YouTube here, I did the late great Mark C. He was there, but he wasn't on the show for me. It was Claude. Sorry, Mark. Sorry, Claude.
Yep.
Claude and I did a show about the history of Star Trek comic books. My then very new, wonderful friend, Commander Briggs was there in the chat, and anyway, so yeah, I just thought maybe it's time I review comic books often, as you all know. How about I would just start doing videos of reviewing Star Trek comics willy-nilly all over the place, but we ended up deciding it might be fun to do it as a segment here on the Clubhouse. So, number one, it was gifted back not so long ago, gifted several comics, Star Trek comics. Decided that she would like to review some with us. Again, bear in mind she'd never read any comics of any kind before. So, it was decided that we would review. The first one we reviewed, of course, a couple of months back now, was the first Trek comic I ever got. Star Trek: The Motion Picture, Marvel's super special adaptation of the motion picture. And after we reviewed that, we started and we embarked upon this journey of reviewing Star Trek Early Voyages, which is, of course, and it's that too, of course. It's basically, well, it's what Strangled New Worms will never be. It's real Trek with the real cast, with Captain Pike and his crew. There are unfortunately only 15 issues of this glorious comic, and we're about halfway through now, and we got number 8 tonight, I do believe. So
We do.
Let me go ahead and play our wonderful intro.
Before you do that, can I please interrupt, even though I'm being very rude and I'm so sorry, but boss man, JT Kirk has to leave. He's having problems with his computer. He's going to go and into lurk and listen mode, and he might not be able to say goodnight. So he just wanted everyone to know that he's saying goodnight now. So JT Kirk will no longer be responding in the chat, and he's saying goodnight to one and all, but he's still lurking. And I thought everyone.
All right, JT.
Sorry, boss.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you, JT, for being here with us, buddy. Hope you can come back, man. We always love having you. Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
Lisa.
Good to see you, my dear. All right, let's see here. Now, Mark will be back in a sec. While we're waiting on him, we will go ahead and play our intro and review our comic because we love it. Here we go, folks. This wonderful intro made by our amazingly talented first officer. Here we go. Bobby's Classic Comics Trek Comic Review, or whatever you want to call it. Let's go. Warp speed.
Warp drive, Mr. Scott. Ahead warp 1, Mr. Sulu. Accelerating to warp 1, sir.
Yeah. All righty then, folks.
Larry
Um,
says he is washing his hands before he touches his comic, the sacred comics known as
Yes.
Early
well, good.
Voyages.
Well, hell yeah, you better. You better.
And that's so amazing every time I watch that opening. It's,
Oh,
Yes,
that's
it is
so,
so
sweet of you
good.
to
Yep.
say.
Big
Thank you.
hand, everyone.
It's
Please give a round of applause for our wonderful first officer, folks.
Oh, you guys. Thank
Great
you
piece
so
of
much.
Everyone slap your hands together. I know Raquel's 6 seconds behind, but she'll
Oh,
appreciate
so
that.
good.
I
So
think we might
good.
be using that a lot.
It's cherry.
Mhm.
It's so cherry. And just the noise it makes is so perfect. Great job, Mark.
Oh, top notch, buddy.
But glad I learned Premiere for work.
Hey, DJ Ronnie G. What's up, buddy? All right, so tonight we have, I believe it is number 8, huh?
Yeah, it's
they've been
gorgeous.
the building mystery of Dr. Boyce murderer.
Yep. And HB's here. It's going to be so fun.
HB, where? Who? What?
Well,
Oh, that
he's
HB.
He's still in the chat, so I'm happy about that.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk art. Let's talk book.
All right. Well, here we go. All right, folks. Star Trek license for common comics has been around. Star Trek has been a comic book, not too many years less than it's been in existence. In other words, I believe it, Gold Key started them up in the late '60s. Not too long after the show was still on and went on the air. Also, it was on UK had some Star Trek property as well. The Los Angeles Times had a strip, and Gold Key though lasted for a very long time with it. Then Marvel, after the motion picture, adapted the motion picture and did it for a short run. Then it went over to DC Comics, stayed there for a while, changed and revamped a little bit here and there. And after the next generation came along, it got a comic as well. Then, even though DC had it, Malibu had Malibu had DS9 and Voyager, and then the rights went to in the late '90s for a short time to a venture called Marvel Presents Paramount Comics, and they had a number of series for a couple of years. One of them called Star Trek Early Voyages. This is number 8, September 1997. Heaven help me! I've just murdered my patient, Dr. Boyce. Now we've been talking about this since the series begins. If you were a fan of the original series and you love the Cage and the Captain Pike's crew, the real Captain Pike, no Spraggledew Worms or anything like that. We wondered early on, why did Dr. Philip Boyce look so different from the character played in the Cage episode, played by actor. It was John Hoyt.
Yeah.
John Hoyt played ably, I might say, very well done by John Hoyt.
Yeah.
And it turns out, basically, our questions were eventually answered. This did happen every now and then. Sometimes likenesses were difficult to acquire the rights to do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always weird to me because a lot of the characters I never even seen, they don't really look like that much of it anyway. In other words, any Kirk comic you see, he's close enough to Shatner for you'll go, okay, but he doesn't look like a photocopy. Although sometimes they do get photo real art that looks like him. Mm-hmm. And I guess because it's Shatner, you could do it, or it's Stewart, you could do it, I guess, or Nimoy, or what have you. But I guess some of the lesser known character actors, they don't bother to talk to get the rights. So this is what Dr. Philip Boyce looks like in this series, and it's okay because it's such a great comic. You go, well, whatever. I mean, they could have at least tried to make. I think personally, I still would have made him the old man. Just you could have made him look different.
Made him look a little older, maybe.
Yeah, because he looks like a bigger version of Pike in this. But still, he's a good character. That's fine. That's a problem that I would have handled it a little bit differently, but that's okay.
I did prefer John Hoyt, but like the editor admitted in the letter to the editor, I believe that's how we sussed that out. But I don't recall now. But anyway, we had absolute confirmation.
Yeah, they can't get in touch with the family sometimes.
That's
too,
right.
even- yeah.
So
he had passed a few years
they
earlier.
couldn't get they couldn't get the permission, and probably because John Hoyt was, had perhaps passed away
He
at
had
that
passed
time.
away, yes.
But yeah,
Anyway.
I feel a little bit sad about this, and I'm glad that you are always bringing it up because I really love John Hoyt. Like he's like a
Yeah.
hero to me, because you already know, like the Cage is my favorite thing. So the fact that he didn't get to have his image in these comics hurts my heart a little bit.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm totally with you. It's a shame.
Sometimes the family says no to her. The actors say no.
Yeah,
they
the
want to be in
family
a
says no
comic
sometimes.
too. Yeah.
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
in this case they just didn't work out. That's a shame, but
Mhm.
still great comic decided out of it. So
Nice cover.
He died September 15th, 1991.
right.
Yeah. So
So-
6 years.
It's a typical comic book hyperbolic cover. Heaven help me, I've just murdered my patient, Dr. Boyce. Killer. And there he anyway, so there he is. But it's okay because Fruity Pebbles to the rescue, baby.
I wonder how much they paid for this, because this is another one of those pull-out ads. So I wonder how much Post paid for this ad.
Well, remember both Star Trek and comics in general were certainly still a fairly decent sized industry of entertainment at the time.
That's right.
So
It's nice
not
to
cheap.
see corporations put in their place. Like, you see how they get prominence? They got their little full page. They got what they wanted, but they don't have anything to do with what's happening inside. And I think that that's so key. Like, it's so key. Give them their space, but stay out of the art. Stay out of the story. You don't belong in arts and entertainment. Get out. Go far away.
If you read this comic, this was at a time Marvel was doing this with some of their, I think many of their series. You get a little a recap of what went before, which is nice. We won't go over that, but you can look at that if you ever need to.
Mhm.
The Space, the Final Frontier, before James C. Kirk, before Jean-Luc Picard. There was Christopher Pike. These were the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. So tonight, hang on one second. I got to cough. Right?
You have a cough, honey. Don't worry about it. Have a little drink of water too, please. Water there.
Damn it.
That's all right.
All right.
Take,
It was pop.
take a couple seconds.
No, I had to have some popcorn. Anyway, Immortal Wounds. For those who don't remember, this ended on a cliffhanger.
Mhm.
Basically, these people showed up. I guess was on the Enterprise, and to arrest Dr. Boyce,
Mhm.
Dr. Philip Boyce. I am Magistrate Holan of the Nadia Prime Judicial Bureau. I am arresting you on suspicion of first-degree murder.
Mhm.
Okay, writers Ian Eddington and Dan Abnett, who have been here since the beginning, doing an extraordinary job.
Good story this week.
Good British writers. Patrick Zurcher's been done an exemplary job with the pencils. Greg Adams, inker. Marie Javins has been there from the beginning as well, I do believe. Doing a nice job on the colors. And Jenna Chiang is one of the finer letterers around Marvel and DC Comics. I don't know if she worked for maybe TVC, I mean Marvel at the time. Bobby Chase, editor, and Bob Harris can go edit himself. Anyway, here we are. They're on this planet. Whatchamadu-Mahiki. Forgot what planet they were on, but they were on a planet. And what? Don't be absurd, man. I'm part of the emergency medical relief team sent by the Federation to save lives on your planet, not take them. Anyway, who am I supposed to have murdered? Citizen one Nartin Fane Drexler. Well, okay. Oh yes, I see. Very well. We better go. What? Oh, that guy. Yeah, of course. I mean, nobody else though. Sure, nobody else. I don't know. Weird. It was weirdly done there. Take over, Gabrielle. You better inform the captain. No, do you think? Yes, doctor. So they just did. Hang on, everybody. I had a cough coming. Sorry. Why now? Damn you. All right. So, Captain's log, stardate 360.3. The Enterprise is continuing in its mission to provide medical support to the Federation world of Nedia Prime, where an outbreak of the virulent Crane's disease has struck the population. However, our work here has been overshadowed by an alarming turn of events. Now, number one of you might want to take it while I try to do something about this, son.
Sure, no
If you'd
problem.
like to take it for a bit.
Yeah, so who is this Drexler? A local wealthy businessman, a plague victim, and one of the 96 to die so far. He was brought in 2 days ago. Captain, I don't believe, the doctor wouldn't. I know, nurse. I'll straighten this out as soon as I've spoken to the doctor, to Dr. Boyce firsthand. Where are they holding him? The Central Judiciary Bureau, I believe. Fine. You and Yeoman Coat search the hospital records thoroughly. Look for anything that can shed light on the truth. Mr. Spock, you're with me.
All right.
It's time for us to pay the good doctor a house call. Let's let it go, Chris. Don't even try to get me out of this. I did it. I killed him. I'm sorry. I've let you down. Clubby?
Yes. What? You hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Good,
No. Oh no, just again, if anyone has anything to say, or I'll keep. I'll definitely let you handle it. Number one.
What I have to say so far is that I think that the art is beautiful. I think it's a little dark in some places, but I like the way it looks. I think the art is very nice. I'm always impressed by this art. It's taken me a while to get used to reading a short story with art, but I am enjoying it. I have to say that I really like this story, and I like the way it's shaping up, and I like how they strung us along for a little while, but not too long, because as everyone knows, this storyline with Dr. Boyce has been brewing for a while now, and now we're going to get some payoff. So good stuff, and thoroughly enjoyed this comic, and I'll talk a little bit more as we get into it more.
Okay, Mark, anything? So
I'd echo that. Yeah, it's art continues as Zurcher. It's just fantastic, and the characters look like the characters, and you're finally getting, you're getting the setup for why Boyce has been acting so crazy. What is this, episode 8 or issue 8?
Yes,
no, issue 8. Yeah.
So,
episode 8.
yeah.
Issue 8.
See, you got me.
Episode.
I said
I
episode
did
8.
get you. You're coming over to the nerd side. Come to the nerds. Come
They're
to
going
the
to take
nerds.
my comic book degree away.
Come to the nerd. Look, they have
episode.
cookies.
Ooh, Cookie Monster stole it.
Cookies and cream. Yeah. So yes, basically there's investigation, and it's law looks pretty bad for Dr. Boyce, but they have some video evidence
They do.
of him killing this guy
Yeah, I thought that was very shocking.
and eating some Lunchables, apparently. It was clumsy attempt at covering his tracks as autopsies. Scans are routinely conducted on plague victims as crime soon became apparent. The details are all here, so I see. So that looks pretty bad. Basically, we meet. This is Toluk. Hey, Sam? This is Toluk. I guess Toluk, the Vulcan ambassador. Huh?
Toluk?
Toluk? Okay, Toluk. How do you say it?
I think in Vulcanese, I think it would
Toluk?
be luck, but
Toluk.
I'm willing to put
Okay.
that to the chat to be
Works
correct.
for me. Yeah. The Vulcan ambassador to Nadia Prime. He has considerable legal experience and has agreed to represent Dr. Boyce in this matter. Greetings, Captain Pike. And Spock, Sarek's son? And Spock, Sarek's son? Yes, I have heard of you. You chose Starfleet over the Vulcan Academy, I believe. A choice your father did not appreciate. Wasn't any of your business. Sorry, I didn't say that. And one that I do not. Oh, one of them I do not regret, sir.
I love the
So,
art. I love, and HB's talking about it too, about the nerdy aspects of the way that these, I think I'm supposed to use the word panels are set up, but I love the fact that that the Vulcan is center stage on the page, then it's the white background, and then we see the panels in like an overlay. But what's interesting is that the Vulcanian's costume looks almost like a flower, and it's like a tulip or something, and the panels go around it. I think it's quite beautiful, and it's very nice to read. And I like that the cheeky talk back from Spock. It almost looks like a bookmark slipped into the book. That's what that panel looks like he just slipped a like marginalia or something in there, like a little post-it note. So I think the setup of that page is really pretty, and I like it.
yeah. Yep. Now we have, of course, the hotties.
Yes,
Hope
lots
and
of
what's her
beautiful
name?
women.
I love that jacket, I have to say, too. There's something so cool about that.
The
Yeah, I
jacket
like
and
those
the
away team
jacket.
jackets. Yes, yeah.
and I
Those are
like the
great jackets,
cowl.
yeah.
Like I would love to have the cowl. You know, I grew up in the 70s. I love the cowl neck, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of cosplaying with those jackets at cons, so yeah.
There have been, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, Star Trek brought those back years later too, but yeah.
Okay, so
Nice
it is
design.
layout. Okay, so it is layout. The same as magazines. Thank you, HB. I always worry, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I never want to offend the geeks, because they're
geeks.
quite particular about the way they describe things. I never want to get it wrong.
Nah, no sweat it.
But I'm willing to get it wrong to learn. I enjoy it immensely.
Geeks are always wrong. Trust me. Trust me.
No.
Trust me. I have deliberately concealed this fact from my captain and shipmates. I assumed, perhaps arrogantly, that it would not impede my work as a physician. I was wrong. I lost control and killed a man. I'm sorry, but that's all there is to it, Ambassador. Go screw your Vulcan self. I mean, you just said it.
Yes, Princess Fiona, they did wear
Well,
those jackets in the cage. They
yes.
wore them. They wore them for their away mission.
Yep.
Those are away mission. They're not formal dress for the cage. They're away mission attire.
Yep. So the ambassador here and Pike are going over. And he says, the Nadans do have damning evidence, and Dr. Boyce's mental health is undoubtedly questionable. He did confess, so we cannot even argue malpractice brought on by stress. The only mitigating circumstance might be diminished responsibility by virtue of mental illness. However, there is no doubt Dr. Boyce did indeed murder Narten van Drexler.
Mm-hmm. Oh, HB,
So-
I love your commentary. The more Clubby teaches me about comics, the more you teach me about comics, the more I would love to be involved in the publication of comics. I love the fact that there are short stories. I'm growing very fond of the art, even though I'm not used to having art to accompany the story. But I'm very quickly falling in love with it. I would love to publish a comic book and bring
Nice.
everything to bear that I know about publishing into a comic book. I can definitely see why you're also passionate about it. This is a wonderful. This is a wonderful.
She's been
wonderful
converted.
It is a
to
basic
nerd.
combination of words and pictures to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty basic stuff. Since psychological dysfunction is notoriously difficult to prove in court, another instance of the doctor losing control would ironically help our case, but unfortunately not in his state of mind. So, dang it.
So this is a crazy page, because if you have the physical copy, that would be the left page, okay, and then
Right.
the one that follows would be the right hand side. So it opens up, and it's very dark, and and very active. There's a lot of violence, and it's all the focal point is actually the center of the violence. So it's a very striking page when you open it. If you're opening the physical copy, it's like when I first opened it, I was like, wow, and all of the focus on just how violent these punches and faces are. It's really cool.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And so, looks like the Doc has busted his way out. Is busting his way out of the prison cell. Now, this thing here, I guess they're establishing, it is okay. Not super romancy, but it's character stuff.
I like it
just like you like it. Yeah, I knew you'd like it.
I do like that because that's what real life is like. It's not, Kiroto with, 90 million year old Odo feeding Kira kisses like a mama feeds a baby bird its regurgitation. It's more like this, like when you're at work,
right.
If somebody has the hots for you and they might say something. I mean, where else are human beings going to meet? If human beings don't meet in academia, if human beings don't meet at work, where are they meeting? Like, you want to meet somebody who's like-minded, who shares your world. So I like that he embarrasses himself by saying how much of a crush he has on her. Men have been doing that forever, and I think it's awful wonderful of them. It's incredibly intimidating to put yourself out there and tell somebody that that you admire them, you think they're beautiful, and that if to see if they're interested too. It's awful daring, isn't it? Because it's very easy to get turned down and to feel a fool. And so in that way, I feel quite bad for men that they have to make cool. That they're in charge of all the advancement. Anyway.
Yep. Oh well, but still, it was pretty good stuff. And looks like, is that Tyler?
I'm not sure who that
why
is.
Now? Damn it! Why now of all time?
Yeah.
That's what you get for eating too much popcorn. I still have a bucket of popcorn for the movie today. So.
Oh, you went to see a movie today?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
The Sequelizer, Part 3.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Let's see here. All right, so yeah, you're right. It is healthy to speak your mind, and with Dr. Boyce in so much trouble, your mind should be focused on the problems at hand. Stop hitting on me.
Not as cute, not how cute I am, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't. Of course, she goes sits with the other dude. Combos.
Notwithstanding the fact that we know that she has a crush on the captain. So if she should be admonishing anyone for having goo-goo eyes, she should include herself in that, because she's being goo-goo-eyed for Pike, standing around and beside his chair, with doe eyes.
And this nurse is pretty cute too.
Pardon?
The nurse is pretty cute too. What's her name? With the blue dress?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, a cult gets all mad, right?
Oh yeah.
But she's all swoony McSwoonerson as well. Anyway.
Yes. A lot of swooning going on here. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, and they're gonna have a nightcap here. When he said nightcap, I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah, look,
what kind of nightcap?
Yeah, I mean, hey, the captain. What are you kirking on this? Are you kirking on this girl?
Yep.
Captain's Long Supplemental. Dr. Boyce's pre-trial hearings commence tomorrow. Ambassador Tuluk has built the best defense he can, but I think we both know it's a lost cause. Then again, aren't they the only ones worth fighting for? That's very Pike. So why his quarters are way too small? They should be like 15 times bigger than that, right? He's not wearing a bib.
Should be cooking something, yeah.
Yeah, where's his stupid ass apron?
Hey, don't talk about your stupid filth. You're getting yucky all over my beautiful early voyages. Look, I only had one opportunity to dance with Christopher Pike, and now you've given me 8 more dates. Don't ruin the date by bringing up the filth.
Where's his apron? Sorry.
Take the poopy diapers, throw them out the window. No poop. There will be no poop here.
Whoa. Nurse Carlotti, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? Hey. I'm sorry. That's what even Kirk wouldn't do that. Permission to accompany you to the hearing tomorrow, Captain. I'd like to be there with the doctor. Permission granted. And care to join me on a nightcap and tell me what's on your mind? It's just that, well, as you know, I lost most of my family. Again, this is character stuff building up to on New Milan when New Milan was fell to the Tholians. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We had a Tholian war, according to this.
Mm-hmm.
I saw such terrible things back then, and they still haunt me.
She's
Dr.
beautiful.
Boyce was helping me. Oh, God, yeah. He did a good job on her. Put me on behind that. So, yeah, anyway. Again, that's all they go. That's all you see. That's fine. Now, Dr. Boyce is stealthily going out there running around, and he goes after Tuluk.
Yep.
They're looking for him
Tuvok,
everywhere.
you said? No, just kidding.
Tuvok, yeah. They have to call Pike because he's running around.
Yep.
Captain of the Enterprise relaying a message. Captain of the Enterprise relaying from whom? Ambassador Tuluk. So
I love Spock. He looks so good.
I don't
It's
know.
drawn perfectly, yeah.
He looks a little too emotionless to me. He's not laughing or eating bacon or singing right now.
Your agonizer, please.
Yes.
Give me your agonizer.
All right, you've earned it. Where is it? I can't find it. Well,
Or you could get this.
That's true.
Your agonizer, please.
That's a good combo, the slap and the agonizer.
All right, so he's quite the Vulcan. And notice how he acts like a pretty cool Vulcan. He's not like a complete asswad. He basically seems to have figured things out. Well, two can play at that game.
I love watching Boyce, like cupping his head with his hand and doing so violently. You can see the veins in his hands, and he's overwrought. He can't believe what he's done. I just love the detail here. I'm getting used to these pictures, and I really like some of them. So I just like that how realistic it is that, you know, that he's slumped in this chair with his head in his hands, and one of them is flexed because, you know, he's overcome by violence and by something he can't understand.
Right. So basically,
But he knows what he did, I guess, right here, guys?
Yeah,
he does
yeah.
know, right?
Unfortunately, he knows exactly what he did.
well, I just like the fact that it has a very Star Trek type of feel to the story. It's very understated science fiction, or
Yep.
doesn't go off the deep. It does. Yes, familiar for sure. Kind of thing you'd see in Trek.
Mhm.
After Pike gets to Decadid with the word Chud there. If
This
you've all
panel-
quite finished.
This layout and these panels are bright and nice. I like them. I prefer them to those darker black panels in that layout.
Indeed. Certain facts have recently come to light that significantly alter the situation. Dr. Boyce has been drawn here to me for reasons that are now plainly clear.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. He did murder Narten Drexler with the lethal hypo spray of metrazine.
Look at
There's Spock.
look at the panel beneath this one.
What? Well, yeah. Oh,
Just
that
look
one?
at,
Yeah.
Oh my God! Look at how good that is.
Oh, it's great.
Look
He's
at
gonna
Spock
explain.
and Pike. They look so good.
Right. And he explains basically, well, I was going to get there. I was going to go ahead and tell everybody what the deal is.
Oh no,
Or-
go ahead. Sorry, I'm
No,
just getting
no, I got
excited.
you.
Sorry, boss.
No, you're good. Most certainly. However, he was not in control of his actions. Spock, tell your shipmates of our custom of Katra transference.
Mm-hmm.
The closest human translation would be the soul or living spirit. Custom holds that the Katra can be transferred by synaptic pattern displacement to another Vulcan prior to death, facilitating its return to the Vulcan homeworld. Climb the steps, Jim. Remember. Indeed, theory is one thing, Spock. Yet I sense from your tone you do not believe in the practical transference of the Katra. I believe and practice the mind meld, the communicative form of synaptic pattern displacement. But even its capabilities are finite to transfer a living soul. Whoa, we can debate Vulcan disciplines later. What about Boyce? And I'm glad they just nipped that in the bud right there. That was cleverly done.
Yep.
Pike's like, what does this Katra got to do with him? Everything.
I just like to see that once again, like Mark has talked before about how he enjoys seeing a young Spock and how that can be achieved in comics. I would just like to echo and amplify Mark's point there, because that last page, like, to see Leonard Nimoy so young. I mean, he's younger here than he was in the cage. Like, look at how beautiful he looks. It's kind of cool that could be accomplished with comics. Anyway.
Well, you can do so much with comics. With the right comics, right artists, the right writers and artists. Everything. He says, we asked about what does the Katra got to do with him? Everything. It is the cause of the agony within him and the catalyst of this tragic event. When we mind melded earlier, I traveled back to a focal point in his memories when he was a young medic on a remote research outpost. It was here that he witnessed the shuttle crash that was to change his life forever. With little thought or for his own safety, Dr. Boyce ran to aid any survivors. And survivors there were, so twisted and charred that he could not identify the species.
Yeah, that's a horrible realization, because you know that a real doctor goes through that, coroners go through that. It's absolutely horrible, and conveyed so wonderfully with the art. It's very sad. Look at the one face of the person who's burning to death in that panel in the upper left-hand corner. Look at the look on that person's face. It looks like a woman. It's so sad. Anyway.
Horrible. Well, it
looks like the Dragon's Domain people corpses.
Right. But go ahead.
No, that's what it reminded me of when I was reading the panel from what that creature did in Dragon's Domain. So, horrific. Yeah.
You traumatized Boyce so much that he decided to sell his comics. So went on and found this ad right here, pricing. He was like, man, my comics aren't worth crap right now in 1997.
Boss man, Stephen S. just walked through the door.
Stephen S., hello there.
Yeah, Stephen, I love your comment. I love the young. I love seeing Leonard Nimoy young. I love it. I absolutely love seeing Leonard Nimoy young. So cool.
Yep, Leonard Nimoy couldn't even sell his comics back to these prices.
Boss.
But they were alive for a few precious moments. At least it was time enough. One of them touched him. There were Joseph free men. There were Joseph free men, a side-adept race not unlike my own. They had escaped a raid on their colony by what was long thought to be the Tholians, but through Dr. Boyce, I know now to be Orion Raiders. As Dr. Boyce was the only living vessel present, the dying men imparted their Syrah, the Jothian equivalent of the Katra, to him. He has unwittingly been host to the restless souls of these three murdered men ever since.
Crazy.
What a nice idea.
So it was three murdered men. I missed that the first time I read it. I thought that one in the far left-hand corner was a woman. It's all men. Sad.
That's pure Trek right there. But the Jothan Syrahs became maddened by confusion and pain. They were the ghost voices that have plagued him and were what prompted him to kill Narton Drexler. Drexler was in fact the leader of those Orion Raiders living here respectively on his brought spoils. It was they who then brought him to me. I was the only one who could help them. a chance meeting of Boyce and Drexler enraged the Sears, driving them to take revenge. During my mind meld with Dr. Boyce, I was able to help guide the Sears into the living neurocrystals of a Jelthian prayer gem. I will return
season
them.
1, season 2, Star Trek.
Yes.
Hey, Clobby.
Indeed, I will return them to the Jelthian free worlds to rest with their kin.
Ugh. Hey, Mark.
love it.
So season 1, season 2. Hey.
Yeah, for
Very
sure.
Trek.
Yeah,
Very Trek.
very Trek. Yeah.
I'd say this change.
Oh, keep going. Yep.
No, go.
No, the only thing is, well, we're getting, as you get to the end, I'm just wondering how these, I guess this ambassador is so well esteemed that they believed what he said, or maybe they knew about this race doing this. It just seemed to wrap up pretty quickly. I mean, I like the story, but I was just wondering, why I guess that in my mind, that's why the aliens in this planet, because they were so bloodthirsty and so they're ready to, kill Boyce and shoot him.
They had video of the guy committing a murder. I mean, they were
they saw the video.
But I mean, they weren't. It seemed like they kind of acquiesced to this pretty quickly.
That's kind of why I liked it. I mean, there was really nothing they could do other than he committed the murder. They were, I don't know if they were gonna they didn't sentence him yet, but they were pretty sure he did it, and he did kind of look like it.
Yeah, but weren't
physically he did it, not mentally.
The alien race was also responsible for bringing in the Vulcan elder to assess the situation. He was supposed to be his counsel. So for me, it works because not only did they choose him to establish the truth, but he did establish the truth. And I also think that it's a type of intellectual friction, emotional friction that we don't confront in modern television and in modern film. And that is this idea of, once we do reach out, what reaches back may not be something that we can control or anticipate. And the otherness, the weirdness, the scariness, or the bizarreness that those alien races will create would be a part of how the Federation would develop. And so for me, it works. For me, this is season 1, season 2 of TOS.
Well, I just would have liked one panel that's just my, of the alien saying, "Oh, the ambassador, I'm forgetting his name, not Tuvok, but you were so, you're so well esteemed." I guess that's probably what did happen, but it just left unsaid. Where they said, you're such a, you're well esteemed, and we, appreciate the explanation, or why,
I like the fact that they bought into it, because they've seen so much. They were pretty open minded. They didn't have to be all skeptical and stuff because of the times they live in. So I'd say this changes things, wouldn't you, Magistrate? And that's all we see of that. But what's interesting here is we have some great Spock development, which is a really key moment, because he says, "Ambassador, a question. I have served with Dr. Boyce for some time, yet despite my Vulcan heritage, why has he never sought my aid? You are a good Starfleet officer, Spock, but perhaps, as your father feared, you are not yet a good Vulcan. Have you considered following the path of Kolinar to rectify this deficiency?" Yes, I have considered it.
Just wait one second here. I just want to go back to where that panel exists that Mark asks for. So the Nada Prime folks have an encounter where the Nada Prime gentleman who's in charge of the prosecution says, "We have clear proof of the doctor's guilt. An indictment is a formality. He must stand trial here on Nada Prime. However," and this is the Nada magistrate saying this, "however, as an off-worlder, he is entitled to appropriate legal counsel. This is Tulak, the Vulcan ambassador to Nada Prime. He has considerable legal expertise, and he has agreed to represent Dr. Boyce in this matter." So the Nada Prime folks not only consider him a legal expert, but they hired him so that the Federation would not be upset that he didn't receive a fair trial. And he's also of high esteem insofar as he is the Vulcanian ambassador.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
after
so that's why he's But just saying that one guy was so bloodthirsty that wants, you know, Pike gets in the fight with him and decks him. But just reading in between the lines, I guess it doesn't have to be there. But that's I guess I'm not being too much. Hopefully, not too much of a nitpicker tonight. But yeah,
it's okay. You're allowed to nitpick.
You're having a nitpick night.
Yeah,
it's okay, and I don't mind it at all. I think it's good because it helps us review the material, and it's good. I like it.
Actually I do mind it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when he says "stand aside, ambassador," he's going to blow Boyce away, and then Pike jumps in. That hurt. Ouch. And but I'd prefer a shin kick. So
well, that's because Boyce escalates it, though, right? By escaping.
No, but Boyce, yeah, he's killed a couple of people, so
and now he's escaped.
Yeah.
So now, like, it was Dr. Boyce's fault that the situation escalated.
Can't shoot someone in the back, though.
That's true. And we also need an excuse to have Christopher Pike punch somebody in the face.
Yeah,
which I enjoy.
Yes. What?
Yeah.
I don't condone violence.
He slapped him in the face.
I don't think he should be doing that. So I thought this this was nice. Nice character bit for young Spock. He's not eating anything cool like eating bacon or singing, but you know.
Clobby, shin kicks. Your agonizer, please.
What are you trying to say? This? Okay, so Captain's log 860-967-8675309 Ike. Nada Prime sucks with a bunch of wussies on it. I don't like it, so I'm gonna go somewhere where I can sing with some Klingons. Just kidding.
The Enterprise is so gorgeous there. Oh, it's just so
nice, strong of the Enterprise. Yeah. The Crane's disease outbreak has been halted and Dr. Boyce exonerated. Everyone on board is breathing one huge collective sigh of relief, some more than others. A penny for them? Cheap at half the price. Come on in, Chris. How you doing, Phil? At least I don't look like John Hoyt. I'm like 40 years younger than him. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Sorry. Fine. Despite what I did, I've peace of mind for the first time in years. Funny thing is, I miss them. It's so quiet now. Then we'll have to just make sure you have other voices to talk to. Mine, for instance. So, what do you want to talk about? Next, the Fallen. So, you want to look at some letters?
Oh, there's a great letter in here. There's one letter we have to read.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
I'll get to it. Yeah, we'll get the one on the top right.
Hang on. What the? Why'd you do that? Wah, 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 wah. Top right, first one.
Right here? It sounds like an annoying nitpicker to me.
Oh, here we go. Dear editor, it is good to see a comic book devoted to the early. Wait a minute. It's not. Am I being fair? Is he a moron or should it be normal? Just do a normal voice.
No, I think that's
you
good.
To make fun? You sure? He deserves it?
Yeah, I think he makes fun of him. I think he does. Yeah, because they had the receipts.
Dear editor, it's good to see a comic book devoted to the early voyages of the Enterprise, helmed by Captain. Sorry. Dear, sorry about that. Dear editor, it is. All right, let me get mine. Hey, Oliver Belamonte, what you say? Hey. All right, here we go. Where are you? All right. Dear editor, it is good to see a comic book devoted to the early voyages of the Enterprise helmed by Captain Pike. I feel that Jeffrey Hunter could have been very successful in his role as Captain Pike if he were not later replaced by Kirk. But that is just my opinion. I do have a few questions about the series. Did Gene Roddenberry have all of these characters in mind for the pilot episode, or were they created especially for the book? Fair question. I do not think Engineer Grace or Nanu or Nurse Carlotti appeared in the pilot. That would be a true step. You're correct. Does number one, portrayed so well by Michael Barrett, have a real name? At least Commander Riker has a name in the Next Generation series. Yeah, I guess he does, doesn't he? Will Commodore April ever appear? Oh, ever appear? Well, I mean, so I don't know. I think that Captain Winters served before Pike, and that April served. Excuse me, Winters before Pike, and April served before Winters. I look forward to seeing what may be revealed in future issues. May the early voyages continue. But see, I almost made fun of that person.
No,
you
no,
almost let me.
No, the one on the top right. I said.
Oh,
I couldn't tell which one you were reading because
okay.
I can't see the screen. It's so
Okay,
small.
let's try that one. Let's see. All right.
That one you can be snarky.
This one here?
I think.
Robert Longo?
Robert Longo, yep.
Dear Early Voyages.
From Maryland.
Dear Early Voyages. All right, Dear Early Voyages. Now, I think you have a good story and a good grasp of your characters. Also, the artwork is quite good, especially the way the phasers are drawn. However, hang on a second. Why is this happening now? I didn't mean anything. Hey, when it happens. All right. All right. Where was that?
Oh yeah.
That's
However,
the phasers are drawn. However,
yeah.
I think your writers need to study their Star Trek history a little more. Case in point, about 3/4 of the way through one of your issues, you have a character named Cusack about to regale number one with a story about Captain Pike and the Tholians. This is quite the impossible. The Tholians first appeared in the TOS episode, The Tholian Web. True. This was clearly the first encounter with this race of Captain Kirk and crew were the ones to encounter them. Well, they knew of they never said that. They knew the Tholians existed. Therefore, nobody in Captain Pike's day would ever have heard of Tholians. I don't know. Pike didn't they encounter them on Enterprise, but that.
Well, if you keep reading, they kind of snark back to them.
I realize this may seem trivial to you. However, if you're going to write Star Trek, be aware that there are many Trek historians like me who will spot these little mistakes to take you to task for it. As the saying goes, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. I hope you can. I look forward to even better stories in the future.
Yeah, but okay, just read the answer because the answer is actually the answer that I would give.
Okay. Robert, please turn to page 72 of your Star Trek chronology. I have that. And look for the Tholian Web episode at the bottom of the page. There.
You could also
will
check
find
the scripts online.
Okay, there you go. There you will find that Spock's line about the renowned Tholian punctuality.
Yeah.
Yep. Suggests the Federation had prior contact with the Tholians.
Yeah.
Don't you feel better now? We do. Yeah. No, that's even not only that. Right. They never said we don't know who they are. They knew who the Tholians were as soon as they encountered them. So exactly right. Yeah. So our boy Robert was slipping a little bit on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got snarked. I like the way they snarked back at him.
Well,
don't you feel better now? Yeah.
You have to actually watch the show before you go around correcting people. And unfortunately, many Star Trek fans, especially Star Trek normies, do that. They correct and they say, "Well, that's not right," but they don't know what they're talking about. And HB says, Raquel, do you think maybe the background color for this page was a bad choice for letters? Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how Clobby could read that on a screen. I could barely read it in real life. It's terrible. Terrible.
It looks pretty good on the scan ahead. So, the renowned Tholian punctuality.
That's what Zoom is for, yeah. Yeah, the line before that is McCoy, yep.
Yeah.
have got the ship out of Sulu. And the Sulu were being fired upon. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So
'cause
yeah, no.
Kirk is off the ship at this
That's
point.
right.
Yeah.
Right. At least they became friends with Tholians later. So
They did, they did, and it was super fun.
Yeah, we get
Yes.
Tholians on the Enterprise
Mm-hmm.
TV show. And
And
the
they
TV show.
also inspired Andy Weir's new book
Oh,
that
really?
I read. That's so
Really?
good. Oh my gosh, so good.
Wow.
I
He
read
was
it.
tra-
I think I read that book in like a day.
They-
I have all of Andy Weir's books. I think I'm referring to
Uh-huh.
Hail Mary. No, is it Hail? is
I
it
don't
Hail
like
Mary?
him because every time I get one of his books, I don't get any sleep for the next 2 days.
Well, yeah, you have to get the one where, you have to get the one that's an homage, a very clear homage to the Tholians.
Really? Wow.
But hold on, just let me. That's in my library in my living room. Just let me look it up quick. Hold on. I read that book so quickly. It was so good.
So is he a self-professed Star Trek fan?
Oh yeah, and he uses illusion a lot and refers to Star Trek a lot. Andy Weir might help if I typed Andy Weir instead of just Hail Mary, so that people think that type Hail Mary into DuckDuckGo. What do you get? Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Yeah, it's Project Hail Mary. It's Project Hail Mary. Yeah, hold on. Is this the one? Hold on.
As in the Hail Mary touchdown pass.
Hold on. Hail Mary Project. Set in the near future, it centers on junior high school teacher Ryland Grace, who wakes up from a coma, afflicted with amnesia, gradually remembers he was sent to the solar system 12 years from Earth. Solar dimming. I think this is the one. It's not the other one. Damn it. Okay, just buy all of Andy Weir's books and read them all.
Yeah,
Okay?
just buy them all.
Buy them all. He also has the other one, but I can't remember what the other one's called. What's the other one called? Damn it, Mark.
Oh, with the Martian.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that
That's the
one.
most
That's a good book
famous
too.
one. Everyone knows it.
It's terrible that they turned it into a movie though, because the movie sucked. Well, the movie didn't suck. The movie was actually really good.
It sucks if you read the book.
It's horrible if you read the book first, which is what I did. So just let me go get. Is it Artemis? I don't know if it's Project Hail Mary or it's Artemis. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to buy both. Buy both. Read both. They're good. I love Andy Weir. I could finish an Andy Weir book like that. It's just good stuff. Somebody said something about Serial earlier and Star Trek, and I misread it.
Mm-hmm.
And all I kept on thinking was, is there a Star Trek Serial? I am over 50 years old. I'm a grown woman, and I would eat Star Trek cereal every day if they had Star Trek cereal.
They did have it, but it was for a movie you won't like.
They did one for Filth?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Sick. No, I don't talk about that stuff. Shame kicks. Shame kicks.
I mean, sorry, and hey, Courtney.
Courtney.
You could slap me, too.
I don't want to do that. Put on your shin guards. Shame kicks.
I thought you were going to slap her.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to slap you. She didn't, though. Why not?
Put you in the agony booth.
No? Well, let's see here. I thought she was definitely going to. Well, number one, it's getting late and it's school night, so I always promise to try to get you moving.
I got to
say,
say,
we do have one more thing to show, though, before we go.
Oh, we do?
Just wait 1 second, guys. Tap the brakes. I give Early Voyages, September 97, issue 8. I give it an A. It's really good. This is my ninth date with Christopher Pike. This makes my heart sing. These are the lost episodes. These aren't issues. Although HB may shin kick me if I say that, but in this humble nerd's opinion, these are episodes. These are the lost episodes, and I love them so much. And I love Clobby for introducing them to me. I love this comic, and I hope you all love it too. That's my rating, boss. It's an A. This is a gooder.
I'll definitely give it a B plus. Upstanding stuff.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yeah, I'm giving it an A minus. Yep.
Okay.
Minus is for the shortened, well, that panel I wanted to see that I didn't get, but yeah, it's
Pay
good stuff.
attention. Now we've got to throw it over to the chat. Larry has the physical copy of this book, and I believe a few others. Where's Matthew Pounder?
Michael Bacon.
And it doesn't Matt G also have these? Anyway, Matthew Pounder, if you're out there, hey, Michael Bacon, Cassandra Bacon.
Take it easy, Michael Bacon. Anyone has any opinion on the Star Trek Early Voyage comic? I didn't know we were still going back to that, so I kept everything up there. But give us your views if you have anything.
Yeah, I don't want to leave you guys out. Thank you so much for everything. Oh, Hungry Boy gave it a pure A.
Fiona said earlier, she said, where we at? Oh, okay. Has anyone ever seen any reference to the Kohinoor or whatever?
No,
prior to Star Trek, the motion picture, or was that created specifically for the motion picture? It doesn't really affect anything. I'm just curious. TMP.
Yeah,
I think Roddenberry, I may put it in. I think he put it in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I don't. Yeah, it's in the book.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Clobby here. He's just saying everything that I would say, and it doesn't matter what the filth people say. To hell with the filth people.
Yep.
May they die in a pit of poopy diapers, flaming poopy diapers. But I don't really mean that, because I don't wish any type of violence on anyone, except for maybe shin kicks. I want to shin kick them all, and quite aggressively in really good heels. Oh, Larry has a grade. Larry has a grade. A plus. Larry.
A plus. Way to go.
Or they could get digested in the Sarlacc pit.
Well, sometimes there's always the next best thing.
It's just so thick and full. I can't help it. I know it's terrible to ugly laugh in public, but it's just so thick and full. And you can clearly tell that Paul said it's made out of wood. So good. Oh, thank you, Mark. That's
You're
a bitter
welcome.
Mark. This is cherry.
You're
buddy.
very welcome.
So, yeah, great comic. A lot of fun. And we're really enjoying this. And I wish there were 100 issues of it.
Thanks to you.
Yeah, but
yeah, we only have.
It's gonna be so
how
sad
many more
after number
issues left?
15.
Isn't it 17?
I think it's 15 or 16.
No,
Let
it's
me go check.
17.
Is it 17?
17? Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Damn it.
only 26
Then we go to Starfleet
UFO and
Academy.
17 of early voyages. I want to have a tantrum.
Now we got to decide what we're reviewing after that.
Yeah.
Which I will. I'll come up with something. I got a couple you'll probably like. Number one, and they might be from this Paramount run. Might just do a couple others from this Paramount run before we do some other things.
Very excited about that, boss man.
And then we don't have to go in order to a whole series. I guess we could
Oh,
pick up storylines, right?
I know what
we could do. Like,
I know what we're going to do. I got what we're doing next.
good.
And it's all because of number one.
Larry, the slap is in Mindbender.
Yeah.
The episode we just reviewed tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mindbender.
Yeah, it was towards the end of the episode, probably. Well, maybe 3/4 of the way through, I guess. Or, yep. Well, we could play the whole thing.
Unless you
Larry
really
has-
enjoy it, in which case you could just play it over and over and over again. Thanks to Mark D with a C, chief
I don't
engineer,
think
quartermaster.
Larry saw this one.
Crazy.
Ezra Goldstein. Hello.
So
That's where it says I give this issue of Star Trek: The Early Voyages #8 2 thumbs up. Thank you, Ezra.
Good, good, good.
Fiona said it is definitely in the book, and I never listened to what the Phil says. I think it's a great addition to the original canon. It's all I need to know. Well, there you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And thank
Absolutely,
you for spelling
Fiona.
canon correctly and not thinking like that it's a canon. I see that so much. Makes me mental.
Or a canon from the old TV show canon. It's just so hard to translate good Trek into comics, considering the rigors of the industry that no freelancer would underrate this issue.
Yes.
Indeedishness.
Nice.
All right. So we can start at least get the balls in motion.
Well, we got the
Supposedly, but what do we got first?
Well, we got this now. No, it's this is the thank you from everyone, and I did the card. Now, I'm 99.9% sure I didn't leave any names off. I hope I didn't. I did this during the show.
Should I set up and tell everybody? K-Dog Broadcasting. Hey, you want me to set up and tell them what we're doing before we show them?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Everyone, I used to think birthdays last one day, but they last apparently like a month now. I was teasing people about it. I was making jokes about that on YouTube, and now I'm going to decide to do it to me.
Sorry.
My birthday, the night before, we had a clubhouse thing, and two wonderful friends, Raquel and Mark, told some other wonderful friends, and they of course joined us. Great pals like Tom and Culture Casino, and a few others joined us that night. Who else joined us that night? Eric
Nick?
popped in. Who? And Nick, yeah.
And Eric.
Great buddies.
Hey?
Right. And but
Dadman
anyway,
and the Dadman clan?
right. So we had some good friends join us. And then I've got then at some point, I don't know, I guess we got to look. Mark knew that there was something, there was this thing figure out there. We had some really nice donations that night, by the way. And then there was a statue out there that as you know, some of you know, I'm kind of partial to the Thing, the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing. And when I saw Mark unbox it, yeah, I said you, Eric, of course. Well,
I gotta have it.
That's it.
No,
I made a mistake of saying I liked it. I mean, I can't lie. I was going, whoa. All I was saying is, oh man, that thing's fantastic. Like a big mouth. I kept saying, well,
you kept drooling over it.
And never make no mistake, everybody. Even though I go, oh no, don't do that, because that is me being honest. I don't like anyone spinning any thing on me or fussing over me. At the same time, that does not mean it is not appreciated. From the bottom of my heart, it touches me like I cannot even begin to properly express. So I do love you all for it. So anyway, it had to be 2 weeks later, just a few days ago.
Yeah.
On my doorstep arrives a very large box with this in it. It's extraordinary.
Ding.
Thank you, Thing. This great statue, which I dearly love, sent by my great buddy whom I dearly love and I've been great friends with for years now, that I would never have met without this channel, Mark D with AC. And, of course, he had cohorts. He had co-conspirators who pitched in for it. We're about to tell you who, because I have not had yet a chance to thank them. Look how beautiful that thing is.
Nice face.
Because he had to gather the list up. And in a second, he will show you that we will show that list. And I will thank you all accordingly. But this is just extraordinary. I had to stop buying figures a long time ago.
Oh, look at the Legion in the background there.
With the rare exception, that's my Legion back there. With the rare exceptions, here and there, because I have no room for them, and of course I can't afford them anymore. So statues, I never went down that rabbit hole. I have a couple of statues, but just not that many.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, I really do love this figure. And that's that. Now, Mark, I should take that off there, should I?
Well, you can leave that there. You're going to go back to the other one. Yep.
No, it's I got to go back to the other one. Yeah.
Yep. So
Um,
Courtney.
yeah. I hope I didn't miss anyone, but here's the card. So and I know a lot of people gave gifts during the stream, and this did this on Discord.
Thank you all who gave donations. You're too kind. I love you.
Back channel. So I hope I didn't miss anyone.
So
and I triple check my
hey Linrod
list there.
Linrod, hot rod. Good to see you, Linrod. So I want to thank you all kindly. Let's see. Eric K, the bronze. Thank you, buddy. Bronze Wrencher. You're too kind, buddy. Larry. Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much, man. Oh, Courtney, my goodness. Oh, thank you so much, dear. Brian Hepburn, thank you. Lord Thoth, you, man. We miss Lord Thoth. Chris Persia, thank you, Chris, buddy. Iron Caster, oh, man, dude. Thank you, man. Maddie's daddy, the great Steve Mitchum, thank you, brother. Just another red shirt. Oh, man, red shirt. All right. Look, 70s rock fan. That 70s rock fan. Brian, thank you, buddy. Who I can't tell who that is. Ramada Briggs, Rachel Briggs. Who's that?
Rachel.
The most wonderful
From
first
France.
officer in the fleet. I love you so much. Thank you.
I love you too.
RMT Derivative, Jilly. Thank you so much. And Scuba Pete. Thank you so much, my friend. And of course, you, Mark D with a C, villain. Thank you, buddy.
And I
I'm
just
glad
want
to
to say on
enable
behalf
that.
of everybody who's on the card, thank you so much for, and you deserve an extra thank you because you are a very kind-hearted, very thoughtful person who found something that Clubby loved. And then you went to the trouble of getting everyone to send a little bit in, but then, you had to order it and send it and get all the credit card information and do all that kind of stuff. You got it all prepared, and that takes time out of your life. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate that. Like, I think you're a very, very good friend, Mark D with the C. And, Clubby and I are really happy that you are friends with us. We all really appreciate you very much. So on behalf of everybody on that card, thank you for taking the time to organize us and organize this and find something that he loved and to get it to him the way that you did. You're a pretty spectacular person, Mark D with a C.
Hey, Jonah Hicks.
Well, dittos and Clobbering Times is a spectacular person, so that's why when I knew that and I saw that statue, and I said, I got it, and I couldn't have done this without everyone making a contribution, but thank you for saying that. It was, you got to organize it, but wouldn't happen without everyone else, sending some of their hard-earned bucks over. So very much appreciate everyone who did that, and glad to take the time to do that because Mike's a good friend along with you, Raquel, and I kind of it's fun to give gifts, right? It's as much as we love these getting stuff, but as a parent, seeing my kids go crazy on Christmas morning, over some of the presents, or doing something like this for a friend, and I know I just wish I could have been there to see you open that box. I can only imagine your reaction. You must have gone nuts over getting that, because that's something I would have done the same thing with getting a statue like this. Or I remember when I got the first Thing statue, the Bowen one, my wife surprised me for my birthday. It's like, A, I can't believe that you got me this, and B, you really did get me spent that much money on a comic book item. But it was but this is you're a great guy, and
thanks, dude.
you deserve to and it's a thank you from, and I know I apologize, I just want, I know people would have maybe liked to have donated, or I shouldn't say apologize, but I know certain people probably would have given, but we had plenty to cover the statue and extra, and also people gave during that night. So this is kind of an impromptu thing. I didn't remember when your birthday was, and I'd been thinking about doing this, and it came up so quickly. So, but I'm glad I love when the plan comes
Just always
together,
remember to ask me.
Yeah. Yep. No, I put it on my calendar now too.
Good. Can I interrupt for 2 wags of a puppy's tail, even though it's super rude? Clobby, Courtney just said in the chat, "I love you, Clobby." That's what Courtney just put up there. Did you see that?
I love you,
look
Courtney.
at that. What
Thank
a
you.
beautiful note to send to somebody
Very
on
sweet.
their birthday. What a doll you are,
Courtney's
Courtney.
a wonderful person that we have. We don't get to see each other much, but we get to hang out at Mark's Geekery every now and then. And she is just a lovely person and a sweetheart. We love you, Courtney. You're part of the gang and always will
Yeah,
be.
cutie patootie. What a
Thank you,
beautiful
Courtney.
note
Yeah.
to send to somebody.
Thank
Isn't
you.
it crazy how there are just so many wonderful people in the world who reach through these digital channels. They reach into your life through snail mail and through all these different mechanisms, all these different comms, just to spread a little bit of love in your life, like real love, like not like amorous love, but like that friendship, thinking of you, your life matters kind of love. It's pretty exceptional, you know. Getting that UFO book from the Beacons, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, and you know, the help
it's
that I get
amazing.
from Tony Stark and from Larry, just our whole community, some really incredible people who in many ways are bigger and larger than life than even our friends who we see, and we live in the same city as those friends. So you are some pretty exceptional people out there. We really appreciate you very much. Thank you for being great friends.
Thank you so much, all of you.
Yep.
So this is, and there was some other ones. I don't know who popped in for the other ones. We got some other things that ended up on the list as well. You got this Hawkeye figure.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool.
He's not stuck in a Christmas tree, thankfully.
Yeah. I like the Sky Cycle thing. So yeah, he came out to be pretty well. Pretty cheap. I mean, not cheap at all. Not cheap, but pretty cool. And a couple of other FF figures, villains that I like. High Evolutionary and Psycho Man. But just I don't know what to say, folks. Thank you so much.
And that is a real cake I found on the interwebs. I didn't make it.
Oh yeah.
I gotta show that. Like, I'd like to get a cake like that someday. But
right.
Yeah, I found that on the interwebs, and I erased the person's name that was on there. It was like "Happy Birthday, Joe" or something.
What you got to do is you have to get one of those action figures that you're not using anymore. Scrub it clean and make a chocolate mold with it. And then you could make like a full chocolate thing. Put them on a cake. I'm willing to do that. Once I get down to Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you come down here, you can have fun. You don't have to work. So
making cakes. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you all so much. I'll never forget it. What a great birthday month it was. I mean, I've never had a month before. But,
sorry about that, boss.
By the way, no, I joke about that. I'm not kidding. It wasn't all just you. 3 days ago or 4 days ago, I got something on Facebook. Facebook does that to you because like someone will say something. Hey, happy birthday!
Yeah.
Like, man, it was 2 weeks. What are you gonna be rude and say? Hey, how dare you? That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You go, just go. Thanks. I mean, that was because it's not their fault. Why would they know? I mean, I've had friends for years that we didn't know each other's birthday. We, and then I've had like 4 other friends that did. It's like family knows it, and some of your, like your handful of closer friends know it. And I've had friends that I was really close with that did stuff with a lot, but we didn't know when each other's birthday was. And then when it pop up and go, I got birthday crap to do. Oh, it's your birthday? Oh, screw you. Happy birthday. But I just didn't know, and I was like, felt bad. I always felt bad. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't know that was his birthday. I want to write down the list of my friend's birthday. And then eventually, as I got older, I forget, I have a lot of them written down, but there's still a lot of them I don't know. But you just, you figure that family knows. My brothers and I, we all call each other on our birthdays. My mom and dad and the immediate family, we always call each other on our birthdays. That's just what it goes without saying, and do something sometimes. It depends, what you got going on. But I don't usually get that many things in the way of gifts, and I just, we don't really need them that much, but I appreciate it. But
we love you.
Thank you, Bubba Doom. I can take it.
Yeah.
I'll put up with it just this once.
And you received a very nice note from Courtney here as well. She says, it's true. I love hanging with you all. I'm all alone in real life since divorce. So you all mean a ton to me. And you too, Hungry Boy. You're so nice to me always. Courtney, sending you a hug, sweetie. Sending you a hug. We're all sending you a hug.
Like, Courtney, I know what you mean. Look, I mean, I've been alone in real life for about 30 something years now. But most of my friends my age, most of them, I got some that aren't with anyone either. A lot of them are married. My kids, they do their own thing. My mom, most of my family members are all married doing stuff. So when you're in that situation, I don't boohoo for myself about it. You find things to kill time. And sometimes when you're on, one thing about, you can say what you want about modern social media and how we don't like it, no things wrong with it. One of the nicer things about it is you can use it to connect with people all over the place, and you spend time with them. It's not the same as going out all the time. I realize that because they're on the other side of the world, but it does allow you a certain meeting of the minds to where you do meet people that you ordinarily would have never met, right?
Yeah.
And you make, if you talk to them long enough, you make good friends and stuff. And just the way the situation is. And so I have some extraordinary friends that I've made. I have tons of friends in quote unquote real life, but also a lot of friends I've made through this life that but I agree. You should save the real life definition for people that you've gotten to know very, very, very well, or you've met and spent time with. And right. Mark and Raquel, are real life friends of mine and stuff like that. And some of you have not had a chance to actually spend time and talk with, just because there's not enough time in the day for anything with him. But at least we could feel like pals here in the clubhouse and friends. You guys out there, listening to my dumbass talk to you all the time. Me, hopefully going back and forth with you a little bit. By the way, next week there will be a members stream where I want to get together with as many of you as possible. We're going to try it. It'll be Tuesday night, probably around 8. Tuesday night. If anyone who wants to come in and hang out and talk to me, of course, we'll all be invited. They said, what? Fine, Clobby does not call me a friend. Of course, I don't call you a friend. I call you master of the wrenches, of course. No, you are a great friend, Eric K. The problem is, the reason why I don't use it in real life that often is because I don't really know what real life is anymore.
Aw, honey.
And I don't know what real life is. I don't have one.
Yes,
Eric K's another one, been a great friend. And but I've made so many friends since I've come to YouTube about 3 years ago that man, it just
love you, honey.
So love you. And again, so all of you out there, when you talk about how it's being alone a lot or any of that other kind of stuff, remember Clobby's right there with you.
It's true.
In the same situation that you're in. So a lot of cases.
That's why we have such a great spot here, and it's all because of you too, Mike. Right. So thanks you for being, bringing us all together. And I remember watching one of the first shows with you. I'm like, oh, this guy's great. He's really good at what he does. It's interesting. The shows are fun, and then just was hooked right away. It also helped too that I couldn't leave the house for a year. Well, not joking, but but it was sometimes good things come out of bad things or bad situations. So maybe I wouldn't have found you on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe eventually I guess I would have. But it was just a lot of fun. I'm like, I'm back in the comic book shop, the hangout with all your friends, and if someone's feeling down or has a bad situation, hopefully this is a fun time for people to get together and to talk to each other and just be a great gang, and appreciate you providing that spot opportunity for us. So it's
I remember when I decided that Mark was cool. He used to come to Saturday Night Star Trek when Clobby and I first started. I don't even remember when it was.
A couple of years ago now, plus, right?
Yeah, but he did something that was hysterical, because instantly I was like, the next time I talked to Clobby, I was like, Clobby, you know that Mark D with the C guy? Because there were 3 Marks at that time that were like Mark C with a K and things like that. So it was like 3 different Marks you had to sort through. But I was like, you know that Mark D with a C? Do you know that he sent me a peer-reviewed paper on whether or not Lucille Ball actually had any input in saving Star Trek? I was like, it's peer-reviewed. This guy, he's not a moron. This guy's a cool guy. And then
that's the way to Raquel's heart is through a peer-reviewed paper.
Yeah. So instant bud. he's now my bud for life because he initiated introducing himself on Saturday Night Star Trek by showing a peer-reviewed paper by, I believe it was 2 or 3 PhDs who had combed through all of the evidence and all of the dates and did cross-referencing to see if it was all true. Anyway, that will always stand out to me. I was like, Mark D with a C. Okay, this guy's a cool guy.
He has
Thank
been
you,
a
yeah.
great friend.
I
And
appreciate
you're all
that.
great friends. Mark D with a C, dude, and could never do it without you, man. And you know how many times you've helped out just by hanging out. The hanging out, that's all it really takes. You come in and you spend time and just showing up, hanging out with me. It does so
A lot of
much for
fun.
me.
It's a
You
lot of fun.
can't
Yeah,
even admit it.
appreciate
I can't even come up with. So thank you, and thank you everyone. You're all my buds, all my friends, and you're what a great group you are. Love you all, and we're gonna start getting out of here because I know number one has to
It's
get
late.
moving.
Yeah, it got late early.
Yeah, it's
Number
super
one,
late.
go ahead with your final words.
Okay.
And
I'm going to get through this wicked quick, folks, and I might have to step away because it's a school night. And
That's
y'all
fine. Go
know
ahead.
that. Do you see how I say y'all now because I'm hanging around with so many Americans? I also say pajamas. But my husband has to get up super early in the morning. I'm just going to wave very quickly to Oliver Belamonte. Thank you so much
Oliver.
for chiming in. I want to thank everybody who came to the show tonight just to hang out. Thank you for and welcome to this virtual comic book shop. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting this virtual comic book shop. Thank you for being marvelous humans who are wonderful to hang out with. You are all such wonderful conversationalists, and I enjoyed your company immensely. No, Clubby and Mark did too. So thank you for the laughs, for your insight, for your opinions. Just you're marvelous. Thank you for everything. I want to thank anyone who sent gifts to the boss tonight. Thank you so much for that. I want to thank all of the lurkers out there, folks who share this stream and get the word out. People who can't participate in the chat, either they're shy or they don't have time, and yet they continue to leave wonderful messages for us in the comments. And those of you who are just hang out quietly, hang out, and we never know you're there. Thank you for that. Thank you for supporting my wonderful friend's channel. It means so much to me. I want to thank the Wrenches for the hard work that they do in promoting this show and assisting all of us and just building this clubhouse, building Saturday Night Star Trek, this whole channel into something much bigger with their little dash of magic that they always add. I love you, Wrenches. Thank you guys so much. I want to thank my Patreon subs super quick, but these people are backing my book, and I will always show my gratitude to these marvelous human beings. If not for these human beings, I would not be able to afford an editor. I wouldn't be able to afford to appear at all these comic book conventions and expos that I'm going to. It's because of these people. 2 huge donors, Larry, I love you. Thank you. You're such a great friend. And Tony Stark, what a great guy. Please follow Tony Stark. I also want to thank Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Chris Persia, Scuba and Leslie Pete, Eric K, and our trusty dog, Dusty Dog Kirby. We share a dog. Not really, but I like to think so because I love Kirby. Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with the C and his beautiful family, Anti-Derivative Jill, Maximum Redstone, get well soon, as well as Enigmatic Drop Bear, honey. I hope you're doing okay. Can't wait to check in with you on Saturday night. JT Kirk, Dabman and the Dabman clan. Don't forget to follow them. Lord and Lady Thoth, and of course Lance, our very own Porthos, and the marvelous Rob Altus. I also want to thank Mark. Mark is just a good friend. We just really love this guy. He's a cool cat. We love hanging out with him. And thanks for everything that you bring to this show and all the special and wonderful things that you do for people behind the scenes. You are the unsung hero, but I'm singing now.
You.
Everyone, please follow Mark's Patreon and please follow his YouTube. You can find him on Twitter. He has all of his socials out there. He's selling a doomsday machine, and you should buy it because it's beautiful. And last but certainly not least, Captain, my captain, one of the best friends I've ever had in my entire life. How I love you, sweetheart. I just wish you were here so I could just give you a big hug and smooch your big thing face, your pile of rocks. You're just the best. Thank you for being a light in my life and introducing me to all of these marvelous people, and for teaching me about comics, and for just being an outstanding human being. My whole family loves you, and you're the best, baby. Mwah. And that's it.
Well, I love you and back at you. Thank you for that. Wow. Mark, Dave,
I
Chief
thought you'd be
Engineer.
quick tonight, Raquel, with all the compliments. Just, I'm joking. Thank you so much. It's so nice, but you can't help yourself. See, you're too nice. Yeah, but I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's
She's the
a
best.
special thing we got going. So right back at you. So I'll be quick. I'll try to be quick. So Sunday Night Geekery will be on, and Labor Day I'm cooking the whole pig. So we'll have some Sunday Night Foodery too. I'm sure some pictures of pigs. So
The geekery will be the eatery.
so hopefully Winnie the Pooh won't show up with Piglet during that show. And Tuesday night is Toxic Tuesday's 100th episode, where we'll be doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
yeah,
which
that's
is really
right.
not a toxic
Great
movie, but it's probably
Nick
Nick's
Weiser.
favorite. Yeah,
Yeah, he
so
likes his little turtles. So.
he likes his
He
he
likes
likes
turtles.
turtles. He likes
He likes
turtles.
turtles.
I gotta clip that for that show.
Yeah, you need to.
So
Yeah.
looking forward to that. But everyone have a fantastic
Oh, I forgot.
weekend.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Eric.
Labor Day.
There's a super chat.
Oh, I was getting to it. Don't
Yeah,
worry,
yeah.
I'm coming.
Yeah,
Go
and then and Eric, I think would probably wants to know also with me. Are you going to put the Thing statue in the Wesley Shrine?
Well, I might as well read this down then. Hope you were not disappointed. It was not Wesley. Well, I'm a little disappointed it wasn't Wesley, but I have to live with that. What are you going to do? Mark,
Well, if we
lives,
get
but I
enough-
think you cornered the market. True. Thank you so much, Eric. By the way, appreciate you, buddy.
You're a sweetheart, Eric.
Well, if we do get enough donations, I can get that life-size Wesley Crusher statue for next year. We'll start working on that.
gross.
Yeah.
Well, look, in that case, I'll owe you all a video of me beating the crap out of it with a pulp bean hammer.
No, we could put it on the lawn and we could light it on fire.
True. After I beat it with a hammer, or before. You're right. Oh my! Anything else?
That's it. Let's everyone
you.
get to bed. It got late early. As
All right,
Yogi
well-
Berra said. Yep. It was a great night. A lot of fun.
It was fantastic. Appreciate you, well, everyone. That does it for Jack Kirby month of for 2023. I didn't do Jack justice, but I'll try again better next year. I promise.
Thank
Love
you,
you,
Jack.
Jack.
Thank you for
Thank you,
everything,
Jack Kirby. Indeed. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jakob Kurtzberg, Jack Kirby, the king of comics, the king of imagination. I love you, buddy. Thank you for what you're doing. Indeed, sir. And then let's see here. What do we got going on? Tomorrow night, I'm going to continue to, J-Man and Sean will continue to celebrate Jack Kirby with me, though, over there on J-Man's channel. Continue our coverage of Jack Kirby's Fourth World, only the Kirby version of it, the Kirby stuff that matters. And it'll be our third snap at that one. Looking forward to it. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern Time. And then I'll be over there with Nick Weiser and the gang, my buddies over there, the lads at the 32 Flavors. We'll be reviewing Mark Millar's Starlight. And then Saturday night Star Trek, 4 more episodes of Star Trek Voyager. Same Trek time, same clubby channel. And the aforementioned Mark D with the C Geekery. I'll be over there with him, 10 p.m. Eastern, until we get something to eat after that. And then Monday night, we do it 3 times a month on J-Man's channel with the great Sean. We will continue our chronological reviews of the Legion of Superheroes from the beginning to the end. And hey, thank you all so much. I guess I will go ahead and just shout out the wrenches and we'll get out of here. Thank you, Eric K. Thank you so much, buddy. Chris Persia, D. Bud Martin, Lord Thoth, the aforementioned J-Man, Hungry Boy, Maddie, Stephen Callell, Maddie's Daddy, Fanty Outsidey, and Max Redstone. And of course, all of you wonderful friends out there who joined us tonight. We will get everybody properly shouted out Saturday night. But we're going to get everyone out of here now since we've been here so long. So thank you so much. Everyone, have a fantastic Labor Day weekend. Whatever you're doing, do it right. Have some good fun. And I hope you'll be here Saturday night for us. But either way, have a fantastic weekend. Good night, everybody.
I just love clobbering time.
Crazy. Crazy. Crazy.